Live? Okay.
Good evening and salutations, our soap opera fans. Oh my God, I've been waiting to do this for a hot minute. Let's get into it. I want to sit there, introduce my first person I always sit there and do videos with, someone who is a good friend, who also does reviews, who does live streams and everything like that. My right hand man, DC Soap Sanctuary. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. But I'm excited to come on today. This is exciting. This is the Kings of Soaps. We got our DL Hughley, our subject entertainer, Steve Harvey, and I'm already back. So I'm super excited about this. This is a long time to making. I'm super excited about Albert. Super excited.
Now, these two also is very special to me on top of DC because they inspired me to, in many ways, to do these different aspects of YouTube. First, everyone knows him at this point. You know, he does reviews also 5 days a week. He inspired me to sit there and do my own channel. BrockTV, how you doing tonight?
Doing good, doing real good. James, don't fix that here again. It's fine the way it is. Don't be messing with it. You know, I just want to let everybody know in this stream we about to be cutting up today. So, because James done fixed that here about 1,000,000 times today, so you know he got to have it just right. And
Yeah.
DC over here trying to look sharp and shit, trying to outdress us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I would have known this was gonna be some dressy shit, I would have thrown my Dookie Brown suit on.
Okay.
And got right and put on my Stacey Adams shoes.
He said Stacey Adams. Okay.
You know, come on now.
Well, I know, but
Stacey Adams, come on now. We got to represent some Stacey.
I know now we have the Godfather of soaps, or People Magazine titled him the soap expert, JLJ Media.
Yes, JLJ Media is another person who also inspired me to do live streams. And it's really interesting because in the beginning, you know, we bump heads because I'm a Leo and he's a Taurus, and it's just how it is. But, you know, the one thing I've learned from him is that it's not always important to be right. And sometimes you got to understand where somebody else is coming from. My friend, my mentor, Mr. James Lott Jr. How are you doing tonight?
Hello, gentlemen.
You know how to sit there and say the best for last. So
no, I am very honored to be here. I think, you know, for me as the elder statesman here, I know on here, it's actually heartwarming for me. I'll be serious for a second. It's very heartwarming to see four handsome, wonderful, talented, opinionated Black men talk about a genre that is African American viewer heavy. And I think it's just something that, you know, this is not done very often. I think we're probably one that I don't think this ever happens. So congratulations. And to the three of you guys for out there, for you guys coming out newer. Brock's doing it a long time like I have. I'm actually really touched by this. This is very cool. We're gonna have fun, we have a good time. But I do want to say, and some people in the chat room are like looking at this and they're talking. I just want to say we don't get to do this very often, and I believe in support. I believe in supporting the village, and so I support all three of you guys. So that's something that I take that very seriously. If we don't take care of ourselves, no one's going to take care of us for us.
Exactly.
Now, before I do pass this off to the moderator, I, you know, just elected DC because, you know, he's always organized and everything like that. I just want to sit there and let everyone know in the chat, once I get to 100 members, I will be sitting there doing a giveaway. So just keep an eye out for that because that's coming pretty soon. We're doing pretty good with the membership. So, you know, if you want to join. But right now, I'm going to sit there and pass it off to my guy, DC Soap Sanctuary.
Well, thank you so much for the chairman and CEO of Bostic Enterprises, BE.
Yeah, right.
Buchanan Enterprises don't got Bostic Enterprises.
We're in the hands of the sanctuary. Thank you.
As a co-VP of Bostic Enterprise, I'm just kidding. But I'm excited to be doing this live with you guys today. So I wanted to start off for the people that don't know these four kings of soaps, or I call the four families. We got the Sunny Corinthos, we got our Anthony Zakara. I always call James Anthony Zakara soap. But I want to start off with each of you just talking a little bit about how you guys got started, just a brief intro about how you guys got started into doing soap reviews and a little bit about yourself. So I'm gonna start off with, I'm gonna start with Brock TV. Let's start with Brock.
Damn, when did I start? Was it? Yeah, it's been a while. I think I remember the day. Was it March 28th? March 28th, 2012? Yep, 2012. I was watching, like, I've been watching the show literally since I was a kid. And I was watching during the storyline. It was right around the time the One Life to Live people was coming on. And it was around the time Carly was kind of flirting around with Sean at the time, but she was acting like she was scared and shit. So I just decided, I said, let me go talk about this real quick. So I just turned that camera on, just started talking about all the stuff, and it just took off from there. And I started just wanting to do it every day now because it became fun for me to do. It was like an outlet for me to vent and talk about, the craziness that was going on during that time. And then it just took on a life of its own. And I've been enjoying it ever since, honestly.
All right. So what about you, James? How was it for you?
Well, it's funny because Brock was one of the few ones I knew about when I first started, because there wasn't that many people doing them. So Party 401, let's give shout out to Candace Mack, Black woman, who's on part of that, my friend. But no, there were two of the few that I remember them doing reviews of some soaps online. And of course, I saw someone. I thought Brock was good looking. I will say that. You still are.
I appreciate it.
But it was like I saw someone who, a black person. Oh, black man. Oh, okay. I like that's. I mean, that's you recognize like okay. So I fell into it because I was dating somebody whose best friend was going to be on a show called Dishin' Days on AfterBuzz TV.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and said, James, you should come on as a guest host sometime. We were about to premiere the show. You should come on as a guest host. I'm like, I had a radio show. I was doing other stuff. And I was like, well, I don't know what that means. But I'll say yes. I always say yes. I've been watching soaps since 1975, 76. I mean, I've been watching soaps forever. A lot of them. So I said, okay, I'll do it one day. And then they started the show. And a week later, they go, James, can you come on this Sunday and be a guest host? And I went to AfterBuzz TV studios out in the Valley here in Los Angeles. And I remember walking into the studio and going, I'm never leaving. I'm here. I'm home. I'm home. And they had cameras and directors. And so, so for me, I have to say, I think Tony and I were the first like black men to do, black men, whatever, to do soap reviews on a huge studio. Like I said, Brock's one of the earliest ones I know online, but like we were the first ones to actually be in this big studio, and so we had a lot of exposure at first. So it was really overwhelming at first because everyone saw. We had like 10,000 views. Like wow, like what does this mean? And I want to do it. And then after that, I go, do you guys have a General Hospital one? They go, no. They said, James, cast it, put it together, and we could do a test show. And I was like, I've never casted a show before, did I? I went on Craigslist. That's right, kids, Craigslist. And I found 40 people, interviewed them, whittled it down to 4, and started GH Report. And then I said, do you have one for Y&R or Bold Beautiful? So I created Bold Breakdown and the Wide Army Restless Wrap-Up. And then I started creating those side shows because we did them every Sunday. I said, well, fans want interaction during the week. So I created the Still Going, Wide Army Spotlight, Bold Beautiful Mini Spotlight, and General Hospital Mini Spotlight. And that's how I started. And that's how I got into it. But it's through AfterBuzz TV. I have to give it to AfterBuzz TV. So a lot of you guys out there know me as an AfterBuzzer. And then during the pandemic, I said after they shut down, I said I'm gonna go on my own and create my own channel. And people said you're crazy. Then I talked to actual Byron Allen, and Byron Allen said, James, do it. He goes, you have to do it. You're a black man,
Mr. Weather Channel.
Yes, Mr. Weather Channel, who might buy BET. Yeah, I love Byron. He's the best. And he said, James, you just should do it. It is crazy. You should do it. And so in 2020, I started JLJ Media as a channel. I have over 50 shows. So that's how I started.
That's amazing. And I would just want to add into that, just give my take, is that when I first started, I remember JLJ Media from all over AfterBuzz. So this is like a full circle moment to be on with all 3 of you guys, because I'm literally the new kid on the block, because you guys are doing this longer than me. So I think it's so cool, because when I first started, I was just thinking to myself, like, I wanted to do soap reviews. I was like, is there anybody else out there that really does it? Like, do people do soap reviews? And then I remember BrockTV, because back when I was in college, my early years, I remember I used to want to watch General Hospital on YouTube, when they posted it real quick before they pulled it, because we didn't have no cable with the dorms. A lot of times I would stumble across BrockTV's videos from back in 2012. So this is a full circle moment to have this. And I remember for me, like just coming doing this channel, I was like, I really wanted to like give my opinion, do that. And then when I was looking to see if anybody else had done it before, because I was like, is there an audience for this? I found, obviously, I quickly remember James did it from years ago. And then there was Brock, and then there was Albert. And I was okay, I think I'm ready to do this. And I started doing all these little crazy intros and all this stuff. And ever since then, I just kind of fell in love with it because there's such a big community. So this is just such a full circle moment here to just be with all three of you guys in one city here. So it's full circle moment. What about you, Albert?
First of all, I started watching soaps through One Life to Live. And
I missed them.
after a while, sometimes I would sit there and go on YouTube or whatever. And I came across BrockTV's channel and stuff like that. And I think it was just one episode. Nina just pissed me off. And I was just like, you know what? I got to sit there and talk about this, And I remember, BrockTV, he did a channel and stuff like that. I was like, you know what? I'm going to sit there and try to do my own thing. Inspired by him. So I started doing that and I enjoyed it. And of course, later on, I started doing live streams because I would watch James, I came on his show and stuff like that. He had so much fun doing them. I was like, you know what? I'll sit there and try it out or whatever. Next thing you know, I'm just not there doing it 5 days a week. And then after that, DC started doing his live streams. So it's just so crazy. That's like we kind of got inspired by each other a little bit, So
I want to give a shout out to GH Envy, who's in Canada. He is biracial, black. He's my buddy. I've known him for 7 years. He started doing him to have him on my show. I want to give a shout out to him because he's another person early on I saw who was doing it, but he does him in his basement. He has a whole different take on him. He's very punk rock kind of. I want to give a shout out to him. He was another person that I watched. They're a black man.
Yeah, I would.
Okay, Dion's on.
Yeah, Dion Gabriel. He goes by GH Envy. He has like several GH shows he does.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he does several. But he's in Canada, so it's like something different. So I like it.
Yeah, it's so cool to see how there's so.
Back to you.
No, I was gonna say yes, James, live at 10 o'clock. No, I'm just gonna say it's so cool to just see how there's so many different channels that are doing this and that are doing all the structure. Because I remember for me, like my first time watching soaps was All My Children. It was 2006, and I was 12 years old. And I used to get go to the pizza shop that was down the street all the time from my parents' house. And every day at 1 o'clock, I didn't even know I was watching a soap at that time, mind you. I didn't know. I was just intrigued because JR burst out the window, and I was hooked from that point on. So it was that was just it for me. I want to ask you guys, because we have seen such a reemergence of how soaps are done these days, and I feel like now that it's been a good 6 to 7 months, we can kind of give a little check-in about how we feel. How are we feeling about, I want to say, the transition of days now going to Peacock, and what do you guys think it means for the future of soaps? And let me start off with the CEO, Mr. Bostic himself, of this one.
I'm enjoying it. I mean, I was already enjoying it in general before it got to Peacock. There's a couple little edgy jokes here or there, but for the most part, it's just been consistently good. So I'm loving it. I'm glad that it's actually on, and I know that if it wasn't on Peacock, then we wouldn't be having it at all. So, I just think that the rest of the world, because there's some people that still sit there complaining like, oh, I gotta pay money. It's like, yeah, that's just how it is. I mean, if it wasn't that, it wouldn't be on. So I'm enjoying it.
I agree with that. James, what about you?
So first of all, hi, bye in the chat. I see you guys. Hello. Thanks for the kind words and everything. We love it. The fans are everything. Trust me, the fans. Hello to my Lotties out there, everybody. Fans are everything. Baby, we would not be here. They would be tuning in to watch us if we didn't have them. And their fans are loyal to each of us. I know they're very loyal to BrockTV. They're very loyal. I love it. So we see you, and I love it. For me, because I work in TV, and I know behind the scenes stuff. Fans need to get over themselves, because a lot of these networks don't care about your shows. They really don't. They don't give a shit about your shows. I say all the time. They don't give a shit about your shows. You're lucky they're still on the air. So to me, it was like, wow. Corday Productions is smart. I know King Corday everything. He's smart. He started Beyond Salem, tested it out. Everybody's watching streaming anyway. We're all watching. I got like 10,000 streaming channels I'm watching anyway. And it's just everything is a soap opera anyway. Every show is a soap opera, basically. I mean, they don't want to call it that, but whatever. To me, I love that Days of Our Lives is you can watch it whenever you want to. It just comes out in the morning. You can watch it when you want to, and it's doing very well. I think it's. I'm not surprised at all. They have the freedom to do whatever they want, or just be the same. Whatever they can do whatever they want. I feel like there's no restriction now of network coming in and going, don't do that, and now you get rid of the gay guys. Now, I just think that people need to understand all these soaps are on their last legs with the networks. And so it's very important that we support them wherever they go. So I got a lot of trouble when they were switching over. I was like, fuck you all. You guys are all tired. Just pay the fucking $1.99. Go to fucking Starbucks and get a coffee every morning. You all pay $1.99 once a month to watch your favorite soap opera. I mean, like, there are people, when a soap opera gets canceled, folks, that means the crew has no job. That means people in the offices have no jobs, not just the actors. The ones that work so hard behind the scenes, they lose their jobs too, kids. And so it's a lot of stuff. And I just feel like we have to really be supportive of these last 4 subs. And I'll tell you on a little side note, because I do a lot of other after shows. I do Life to Live and All My Children and Knots Landing and Down. I do a bunch of them. And they're hits for me. I'm getting all these interviews with the former stars. It is big business. Folks want their soaps on the air. And I wish that the streaming service would go, okay, let's bring back a reboot of Not Slang. Let's bring back a reboot of Life to Live. There's an audience for it. And if Hulu doesn't pick up, General Hospital, it's crazy. If Paramount Plus doesn't pick up Y&R, but I hope if the network doesn't want them, just bring them over here, and then you can still keep going. Those companies have money. They have the money. Networks are more beholden to stuff, but streaming can do whatever they want. So I love it. I think it's a great idea.
I agree with that. Brock, what about you?
I totally agree. Like what James said is dead on. It's like, at the end of the day, I watch a bunch of damn streaming services. I pay, and the funny shit is, I pay for cable. Why? I don't know. But I pay for it. And I'm going to tell you how many times I actually look at cable. Once a month, maybe. I'll turn the shit on and look at it. But I'm watching BET Plus, I'm watching Hulu, I'm watching Pluto, I'm watching Peacock. I'm just watching everything at this point through streaming. Tubi, of course. Oh my God, you talk about ratchet TV. But I'm just, I'm just up there every day watching it. And this is even when I'm sitting at work. I'm just at work on streaming. It's just big business. You know what I mean? Is it oversaturated? Yes, but it's still, I think it's a good tool to have. You know what I mean? I definitely have to give a shout out though to Prospect Park, because back in the day they were innovative in doing that. They got the ball rolling on it, and it was in its infancy at the time. I wish that they could have done it now, or at least found a way to stick it out during that time, because when they first started it out, man, it was insane. I was hooked. Especially during certain scenes. I'm not gonna say what, but on All My Children, them scenes was a little spicy. But I'm digging Days of Our Lives on Peacock. The stuff that they're able to do, we don't have news breaks interrupting every 5 seconds with political nonsense that make no sense. So yeah, I'm loving it right now, and I think more people need to stop bitching and just go ahead and watch it. I'm like, you're gonna complain if it gets canceled. You're gonna go on an uproar. You're gonna go on a tear if it gets canceled. But you're part of the reason why it's getting canceled though, because you didn't watch it. So it's like, go ahead and watch. You know what I mean? Like, you say it's your favorite show, support your favorite show. You know what I mean? I definitely agree with James. I feel like a lot of shows on TV, whether people want to admit it or not, are basically soap dramas. Look at everything Tyler Perry doing, soap dramas. And Lord knows Tyler Perry could drag that shit out. And I love me some Tyler Perry, but damn. Like, I be sitting there trying to listen, I'm hanging on by a thread with the Oval and Sisters right now, because I'm just watching those like, we need to hurry this shit up, Tyler. And I love me some Tyler Perry, but I'm like, what we doing with this? Like, why you got people pregnant that announced their pregnancy 6 months ago, but they still ain't got no baby bump? I'm like, what are we doing? But I'm enjoying it though. I think more people need to definitely watch, through streaming services and support it.
I want to mention, I want to get back off of because Prospect Park, I talk about it in my last episode of Where I Have to Live. I talk about that, where he on my after show, because they tried something. It was a little too soon. The public wasn't ready. They weren't ready to see their characters cuss. You know, they weren't ready to see spicy. They talked what they wanted, but then they weren't ready to see it. I think, and the Prospect Wars are so messy behind the scenes. Who knows what they could have done if they kept going? I mean, we could have had 10 years, 11 years of Why to Live with All My Children, under our belt if they kept going. And I thought it was such a great idea. So I agree with you on that one. It was just embryonic stage, and no one was ready for that. And the first always the groundbreakers always kind of fall apart and things like that happen. It's the next ones that come after that, and Days definitely now is that next generation of that. And I saw somebody in the chat just want to say, yes, some reboots are trash. That does happen.
Yeah,
that's in the eye of the beholder, of course. I enjoyed the new Dynasty on CW. Fuck everybody who says they didn't like it. I don't give a fuck. I loved it, but I hated the new Dallas. So there you go. And so
wait. Hold up.
Yes.
Wait. You said you ain't like the new Dallas.
Oh my God, it was horrible.
The 2014, the 2012 Dallas.
Cynthia Sidri produced Dallas. She didn't like the original series. That was problem number one. The best episode was JR's death. That was the best episode.
I'm gonna tell you right now, the best episodes for me was everything JR up until after his death. After his death, I lost interest.
Here's the thing, Brock. The casting was perfect, though. I loved all the casting. Josh Henderson was perfect as John Ross. Jesse Metcalf was perfect. Pamela Rebecca fucked up the character, but she was good. She was cast really well. They wrote it wrong. Homegirl and everybody was cast really well. You have like soap legend Judith Light on there. I mean, come on, they screwed it all up to me. It's like I just thought they know how to write Christopher, and then they ended up killing him off. Sword on everybody who didn't watch it. I just thought Dynasty did a better job. Sorry, I like Liz Giles. I love her.
I agree.
I thought it was done a lot better. But I just thought that Dallas that's my favorite show of all time. I thought it had so much potential. And I just was like, when I read that Cynthia Sidri was not a fan of the original, didn't follow it, I was like, but then I'm just like, you have to know your history. You have to appreciate it and know it to go forward. I think that's all soaps, period. That's kind of my
I want to say something in regards to that, because I feel like this is one of the reasons why with Days that them on Peacock works, because Carvelotti, to me personally, it's my personal opinion, I feel like he understands how to write soaps. He knows how to honor their history through his writing. And I feel like he's done that so well, because when I look at them going over to Peacock, to me at first, I wasn't sure how this was going to go, but I mean, they did prepare us with Beyond Salem, and then that whole Beyond Salem 2 where you had to pay, I think it was a $2, $3, $4.99, whatever they had. So there was prepping us of the works for it. But I think it was really good that they did that, because at the end of the day, I think Days had only a year left on their contract. So if they didn't take that jump, the network was gonna like dump that. And that was gonna be a wrap for them. So I think it was the smartest thing for them to do. And I think this is allowing soaps to go into that next generation where they need, because people aren't really watching on network. I haven't watched soaps on network for the longest. I'd be watching it on Hulu or NBC.com. Now it's on Peacock. So having this new transition, I thought was perfect. And this is another thing too. This is, I mean, kind of related to them on Peacock, but just Carvelotti himself, is that I understand Days is not, if we're looking at representation, not all the way perfect, but compared to other soaps, it's getting us the best type of representation we could have, which makes me wonder, how are we feeling about the representation on the remaining 4 soaps? And I want to start with Albert on that one. Albert, how are you feeling about that, the representation that's on these remaining 4 soap operas that we have?
I mean, right now, Days is doing it the best. I can't really sit there and think about Y&R because, you got Tess and Mariah. We barely see them. A lot of their stuff happens off screen. I'm surprised that people actually remember them, to be honest, because they just really don't show them. And I feel like the people that are fans of them are constantly getting screwed over. General Hospital, it's just, and of course, you got B&B. They do their best, but they're not good representation. Because you even said, as far as LGBT and certain places that they run their network by or their shows by in a certain area, that they don't allow that stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
What
James,
about,
what about you? Because you've actually interviewed Taraya. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Albert. You got something to say?
No. I was going
Okay.
to sit there and pass it off to James. I do got another question after that, after this is done.
Okay.
Okay, so as you know, I'm plugged into all the shows. I actually work with the networks, and I'm plugged into many of the stars. I'm friends with many of them. I've interviewed many of them.
He knows
I'm
where all the
friends
dead
with
bodies are buried.
What?
James knows where all the dead bodies are buried when it comes to
I
the
do.
networks.
I know many of them are. Not
Go ahead.
all
I'm
of them.
sorry. Go ahead, James. Go ahead.
Let me fix my hair again. I know where some of them are. That's for Brock this time. In all seriousness, it's not the Midwest folks. Maybe people in the Midwest don't give a shit. They want to see Jiraiya also. Like they want to see their favorite people. It's network. And it's not the actors, so don't get mad at the actors. It's not even really the producers either. They're trying to keep their shows on the air. So sometimes what happens, and I call it out all the time on my show. I always call shit out. I get in trouble for it tonight, but I call it out. It's just a shame because like Bold and the Beautiful, I have a lot of friends on there, all my buddies. But how are you going to have a show in Los Angeles, fashion house, and no gay people? Let's just sit on that for a little bit. You don't have that. Let's just sit on that for a bit. And I love my folks over there. I love my Lawrence St. Victor's, Place Car. I love my people over there. They got other reputation. But
what about Clark, or was he metrosexual?
Yeah. Oh, I know Daniel. Dan McVicker. I interviewed him too. He's great. He's a great guy. But no, we don't have any gay guys, right? Or at least, or even gay women or anything. Y&R, it is kind of diverse, but now it's like where are the young people?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love some veterans, obviously, but it's a Diane show. Okay, got it. Yeah. But you bring in Kelsey Wang, you bring it's like, well, where are they? They're all reoccurring. What's going on there? That's a little troublesome. General Hospital, I'll give it to them. When it comes to blackity black, I mean, we got the representation. We got every shade on there, every color. We got everybody. I'm good about that. But then, where's the gay? Like we got poor old Brad Cooper in the corner, probably horny and by himself, and he got nothing going on over there. I'm like, there's no Lucas. I said, make Cody gay, and him put him. I told Perry, I interviewed Perry Shen the other day, put them together. Shit, I was this guy. I mean, screw this up because Brit's dead, so I don't worry about him anymore. So I was like, where's the gay on there? They finally got the Asian on there, but then all the shows, where's the Latino? I'm Puerto Rican. Where's my cousins? Where's my people? All the shows, they kill them all off on Young and the Restless. My poor buddy.
What about Gabby and Rafe on Days?
Okay, anyway, so where? I mean, yes, Sonny. Because before I get in trouble again, yes, Sonny Corinthos is supposedly half whatever, but on the show they barely talk about it. So don't yell at people out there because they barely talk about it. And yes, I'll give it to Gabby and Rafe. Gabby's more Latina than anybody else. I'll give it to her on Days of Our Lives. But other than that, they killed everybody. They killed the Rosales family. And poor Ray they did Jordy wrong. They did go to Rafe wrong on that one. I mean Ray wrong on that show. So I'm just saying, reputation is lackluster on every show. They're lackluster in some area, and so I would hope that they would kind of spruce it up once get that in there. So that's for your representation. That's my thoughts on those 4 shows. They should go to Shonda Rhimes. She mixes everybody up. Shit. Go to 911. They mix everybody up on there too.
Did you get Brock?
So before I get into the diversity talk, James, because you brought up something that I did need to ask you about real quick, because you are plugged into all the shows. So I want to bring this up. You know Ron Carlivati personally, right?
I do.
You do, right? Okay, so I need you to do me a favor. If you speak with that man,
yes,
please, I'm sincere, because it's been almost 10 years. It's been almost 10 years. Ask him to unblock me on Twitter, please.
Oh my God!
Like we need to get along, okay? Like whatever I said 10 years ago, we need to forgive, repent, forget.
You probably forgot this. Yeah, you probably forgot at this point.
Well, he need to unblock my ass. I be saying nice shit about him on Twitter. He don't know because he got me blocked.
Oh wait, here's what I'll do. I'll find out. I'll be like, so Ron, you know BrockTV, right? What are your thoughts? I'll find out. What's going on.
Listen, it was back.
I'll ask. I'll ask. I don't give a shit. I'll ask.
It was back when he was writing GH. I didn't like certain things he put, so I said some shit. He got mad. blocked me. It's like it wasn't that major, but I'm like, bro, we bigger than that now. We've grown.
The thing about Ron Calabardi is that when he comes on the shows, he comes on like gangbusters. He did it on One Life to Live, GH, and Days. He comes in with the history, use of veterans on stuff. And then some things peter out a little bit after a while. That's what happened on GH. It kind of see, One Life to Live got canceled, so it didn't happen there. But GH, it started to peter out a little bit. There was some ego stuff happening over there, and then he moved over to Days.
Just tell him, me and him, we cool. I'm his buddy.
Okay, I will mention that to him. Yes, I'll do it.
So getting into the diversity thing, Y&R is very geriatric.
Old and the Restless.
I love y'all know, like, I went to school for business, so I love me a good business storyline. I do. But I'm gonna need some young people to come up in that bitch and spice it up. Like and it does not help that the head writer fired all the breakdown writers. That shit don't help. Like, that was a disastrous move that I feel CBS should have never allowed. They should have
CBS asked that. That's why it's CBS who asked for that.
They did.
Oh,
it is a never decision. Again, there is no money. They're trying to figure this out.
There is money. Cut the damn CEO salary in half.
Well, not just that. Here's the next thing. Well, yeah, right, that too. But you said something earlier that's very true. If you like the show, watch it. That's what helps with advertising. That's what helps with they need the ratings to go up. Folks are like, oh, that's so boring. I'm not gonna watch it. So then
why are they still sitting at 4 million, ain't they?
3, it's like 3, 4.
Well, shit, you still get higher than everybody else. Y'all got money.
No, the game shows are getting higher.
Oh yeah, that's true. But well, shit, if they spruce some shit up, people will watch more. Get some younger folk up in there.
They got a pool set on GH. He got in trouble. Frank overspent. He overspent and got in trouble.
But Frank is good with the budget, though. I heard.
Yeah, no, he is good. He is really good.
Yeah, but
he's on Carly every day. That's all.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Did I say that? I'm sorry.
Yes. The Carly fans gonna come at you.
Well, they did before. Trust me.
Trust me. I see them. I see they ass in my comments every day. I'm like, listen, Con, hold your horses, relax. I'll say something nice about her when she does something.
Yeah, we love Laura Wright. I love Laura Wright. I interviewed her.
Laura Wright is my boo. I follow her on Twitter. I love her.
Love her hair.
But yeah, Y&R, I just feel like they need to spruce things up. I feel like it needs to be more diverse. I feel like the shit that's going on with Mariah and Tessa is straight deplorable. They need to go and find them some shame for what they're doing to them. I just feel like it's very shameful that they don't get no type of camera time. Like Mariah, she came back to town to tell them about the baby and all that. She showed Adam photos of the baby. Why, I don't know. But there was no Tessa. There was no child. I'm like, there's a problem with that. It's mostly played off screen. That's the issue. Because I think that could have been huge. That could have been groundbreaking. I think they dropped the ball with a lot of things on that show with the diversity roles, especially with the Rosales family. I feel like that was a major drop. The Winters family, I think, was a major drop.
Ultimate drop.
Major.
Don't even get me started. Don't even get started on that whole thing.
Days, I feel like Days is definitely doing their thing with diversity. Could it be better? Of course. I think everything can be better, but I give them applause because they are doing it. GH, of course, I think they're doing a 50% good job on it. Maybe a little less, depending on the day. But like I said, I think I said it before we went live. I think we need Lynn Whitfield to play Portia's mother. If we can get Lynn Whitfield on this show, and I can get Lynn Whitfield in a scene with Maura West, I can guarantee you could take my word to the bank. You get Lynn Whitfield, Maura West in a scene, them ratings will go up. They'll go higher than Y&R.
Well, here's the deal. Before you bring anybody on who's famous, who's a good actor, you got to make sure you write for him. You got to make
That's true.
You got to make sure you give him a good story. Make sure you write for him because you had Kim Delaney and she was wasted. Gregory Harrison is being wasted.
Yes. And I think but Jackie Harry, they used her.
On Days, well, let me start on that. Anyway, but on this one, but on General Hospital, I would say they bring out because they have a bloated cast.
Oh yes.
So when they bring people on, I was like, no, you're like they had what's her name from Star Trek, Denise Crosby, or whatever. They gave a couple of good scenes. They wrote some good stuff for Elizabeth, kind of for that.
And they dropped
it. We loved it, but it's like make sure you really write for Lynn, because Lynn is somebody who deserves to have good scripts.
Oh, you got to write for Lynn.
You're on. Make sure it's really juicy and meaty and soapy.
Oh, for Lynn Whitfield to come on that show, they have to bring the writing A game, because Lynn is not even going to sign a contract if the writing is subpar to her. Lynn ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
But I can see her doing it, but I definitely agree. Cuts are going to have to be made on that cast. And as far as, you know, the diversity level up there, as far as gays, I'm like, Michael could definitely be gay, because I feel like at this point, Michael has more romantic chemistry with some dudes on that show than the women. Every time I see him around Dex or around Chase, I'm like, y'all give off sexual attention to me.
I thought I was the only person that saw that.
Yeah, it's like every female that they put him with, he just don't have no sexual chemistry with them. They more like a bestie to him. Like even Willow, I'm like, that's more like a little sister to him or something. I'm like, he talked to her like he talking to Jocelyn. So I'm just like, yeah, I could have made him gay, or bi or something at the very least. And then the funny thing is, I'm like, Brad, you got him just hot and bothered in the corner, and y'all ain't got nobody for him. I'm like,
and Christina just sitting there shucking drinks.
Exactly. We barely get to see Christina. I really felt like they dropped the ball on her, especially with the Dex story, because I felt like if you kick Jocelyn out of that story and kick Christina in it, you would have got better, more meaty material out of it. It would have made the storyline, the climax of it would have been hella better. Jocelyn, I mean, she just worked my damn nerve every day. All that whining. I'm like, where's the substance in y'all relationship? Because I just hear whining. Y'all ain't got no lesbians up here, like just a none. Like you know, I thought something was gonna happen between Alexis and Harmony, but they kiboshed that.
I know, me too. I thought they was gonna be eating each other cooter in no time. I really thought so. I'm still waiting for Taylor and Brooke on Bold. I'm waiting.
That's what I thought, because I seen her put their hand on each other, on they, you know, touch each other's hand and all that. I said, where y'all about to go with this shit? Y'all about to be texting each other?
Some deep sea
yeah, it didn't even seem to like transition there at all.
Yeah, I thought we were about to see some carpet munching.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really quick, Albert, you had a question I know you want to ask, right?
I did have a question, but you know, before I even get into that, yeah, I've noticed a lot of people, even just here's the thing, even the thought of Brooke and Taylor being together, there's a lot of people that's just losing their minds. Like just they're so outraged just by the idea. Now keep in mind, they don't actually have any LGBT characters in there, but just the thought, people but
And the chemistry is there too. But go ahead.
yeah. But now, I want to sit there and ask this question specifically for James and Brock, because they have been doing it for so long. Y'all are practically two of among the pioneers of doing this whole thing. So, like, I'm going to start off with you, James. How do you feel about, like, inspiring so many people to not just do reviews, but also do live streams like myself? Like, how do you feel about that?
Well, I do classes on it and stuff, and I literally give back. And when I feel like they're like my little children. That you're going out there in the world, and I see someone do a live. I'm so excited because I'm not the magical Negro or anything. I mean, I just learned how to do this, and I'm very open about. I love the camera, but I had to learn also. I had to learn how to be comfortable in front of the camera. Then everyone can do that. It's like you can do it. You can find your own style, find your own beat. But for me, I'm shocked because a lot of times I'm in my own little world. I do 10, 100,000 things. I'm so busy creating content. I'm so busy doing stuff. I'm so busy thinking about who can I get on the next show, who can I do over here, and work with CBS. And I'm always doing so much stuff that when someone comes to me and goes, James, I started a podcast because you did one. I'm like, oh, like I have that, like me, because I'm doing one. We make it seem like it's just it's accessible, and I go, well, yeah, anybody can start a podcast. That's bad too. But on a good note, a little shade. But on a good note, though, I see people finding themselves, and if I had any hand in anybody finding themselves while doing this or doing something, a variation of this, whether it's live or recorded, I'm very happy. I mean, it's fun. It's supposed to be fun. It should be a good time. And for me, if I inspire anybody to do anything, I'm just like, It makes you smile. I mean, I think it's very cool. But I think we all can do this, you know. And there's enough people out there who want this content. That's why I don't see competition. I've never seen competition. There's enough people out there. We're not reaching everybody, folks. Even the forest, we're not reaching everybody.
Exactly.
So there's enough to go around, and people always ask you. I always look out for other people. That's how I find you guys, and I'll invite you on my show. And they're like, "You invite your competition?" Like, they're not my competition. You know, 10-4-GH, it's a mother and son. They have a whole different dynamic than me and my co-host Frank. Then I had Pier 54. They're two sisters. These are two best friends. It's a different dynamic. It's not the same thing. It's like we're not saying the same stuff. Well, sometimes we are, but a lot of times we have different opinions.
Exactly.
And so I think that's what. So you find the ones you like. Let's say so fans have a choice to find the ones they like. If I inspire any of that, I'm so busy. I'm a worker bee. I'm just so in the doing stuff. That when someone tells me that, I'm very touched by it. I think it's very cool. Especially if someone of color says it to me, I'm even many more touched. That's not English, but you know. But I'm just so. I got degrees, folks. I got a doctorate. I'm smart. But when I used to was no. It's actually really inspiring. It's really touching. I never thought in a million years that anybody would care what the fuck I do. I didn't get into this for that. I got into it because I got into it. So I mean, and I find it enjoyable.
Brock?
Honestly, for me, it's very humbling, and I agree, it's very touching when somebody say, "Oh, you inspired me," because, like I said, it's crazy how we see people of color on TV that look like us. And it's humbling when somebody tell me, you know, it's good to see a brother doing this, you know, reviewing this, and you know, it's very humbling. And it's touching, it's heartwarming, you know, because at the end of the day, you have to do something that you're happy doing, you know, do something that makes you laugh, have fun, and you know, it doesn't feel like work to you. It doesn't feel like, oh, you know, I got to do this. See, when I go to my regular 9 to 5 job, I dread going to that shit. You know, I get up, I throw the uniform on, I go in, I sit there for 8, 9 hours. I hate it. But when I'm like turning that camera, I love it. It's like a whole different side of me come out. I get to fully be me, just be comfortable. And, you know, I never thought I would ever be, you know, comfortable doing that in front of a camera, but I just press that button, I turn the shit on, I just go. You know what I mean? I don't even think, I just go. So if I inspire anybody, you know, to turn on a camera and just talk about a show that they love or a topic that they love or whatever, that's, you know, that's amazing to me. And I'm happy that I can do that for anybody, you know. And if somebody come to me and say, hey, you know, you should check out this person channel, I check that person channel out and I shout it out on my community section, or I tweet about it and put the link in my Twitter. You know what I mean? It's because at the end of the day, if I can help somebody, cool. I know, like James said, nobody's in competition. You're only in competition with yourself at the end of the day. You should never feel like you're in competition with somebody else, because YouTube is so huge, media is so huge. And I agree, we're not going to reach everybody. You know what I mean? Reach who you can, and, you know, help others reach who they can. You know what I mean?
Brock be getting good numbers. So it's not like he's sitting around, you know, with 200 people. He's like, you get good numbers. You get good numbers. You do.
Oh, I do. You know, and I was shocked by that because, like you said, you know, I never got into it for any of that, for the people like that or nothing. You know, it's just a space for me to talk about something. And if people want to come in the comments and give their opinions also, that's amazing too. You know, when you get good folks, you know, not stands that want to say, oh, well, you have to say something nice about my favorite. I tell them all the time, no, I don't.
Thank you.
No,
I tell folks, all I gotta do is stay black and die. That's all I got.
Exactly.
Do.
You're free.
Else optional.
Listen, you are free to like whatever character you like, and I am free to dislike whatever character you like.
That's right.
It's just whatever. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their own likes, dislikes, but it's just very humbling, you know, that you can inspire somebody and that somebody can inspire you. You know, it's a beautiful thing, because I think that's what the world needs. Everybody needs to inspire each other and not tear each other down and say, oh, well, I don't like you because of such and such. Listen, everybody's not going to agree on everybody's opinion. That's life. I got family members that I'm very close to. I don't agree with everything they say, but that don't mean we dislike each other because of it. No, it's just you're human. You're different people. You have different points of view, and that's why I like watching everybody's channel, listening to what everybody got to say, because everybody brings a different perspective to something. I could see a storyline one way, you could see it another. And then I'll be like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. You seeing somebody else's point of view. You seeing it from another side. That's a beautiful thing. You know?
We have to, I'm sorry, as black men, as black, even our black female soap people who do things too, we got to support each other. We have to, I'm tired of this crabs in the barrel mentality that we do.
Yes.
We have to support each other. Like I said, whether you agree or not with what they're saying or whatever, as long as I do anything horrible. I mean, if they're just telling their opinions during the show, it takes 2 seconds to retweet and say, check this out. It takes 5 seconds to post on Instagram, check this out, look what they're doing. Exactly. Or saying hello to them, or just saying, good going, girl, do what you gotta do. Or I just think it's so, and that's what's kind of interesting with the Sabrina fandom, the Sabrina Nation fandom. They have been wonderful to me. I mean, they have been wonderful to me. And so I've been going through some heavy stuff now with my mother. And they've been really just wonderful and supportive. And like, James, we got you. And a lot of them are black women. I've talked to them personally, and there are a lot of them are black women who have come together because of this coupling, because of this character. There's nothing wrong with that, actually. Black women come together and enjoying friendship and support. Wow, that's not, that's nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, you can not like Sabrina or whatever, but I appreciate that they are finding community. And we have to say, good job, BrockTV, on that interview, or good job, DC, on that live, or good job, Albert. I mean, to me, and I guess, again, I've been around longer than all of you guys, I've seen where we've come as black people. And 5, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, we would not be sitting here together, 4 people on a show doing it. It just would have not been possible. It just wouldn't happen. And 20 years ago, I was doing jobs that I took jobs that I had to take so you guys didn't have to. I fought, I marched and protested and all these things because I used to be discriminating. I couldn't be fully black at jobs or gay at jobs, and had to hide in the closet, all these things because I get fired. I mean, like, we are in 2023. We should, as a people, at the very least, just support each other's ventures. Whether you agree or like or dislike doesn't matter. Just like support each other. It doesn't cost anything, but the rewards are large.
That's something I never understood with people too. Like they will, you feel like you can't. That's sad that some people can't be who they are in a space, because people want to critique them or say, oh, well, why are you this way? Or what the hell does it matter what somebody doing in the privacy of their bedroom and with whom? What does that have to do with you?
Let me tell you a quick story. So in 1993, we're talking 30 years ago.
I know.
I was born in 93, by the way.
Yeah, whatever you guys.
Listen, I'm 30 in 2 weeks. I got 2 weeks.
Happy birthday and fuck you. Anywho, I was 24 years old. Just quickly, I was at a job where I worked very hard, and there was a white guy. We both worked. We got there at the same time, worked really hard, and they literally told me, we will give you the money, we'll give you the hours, we can't give you the position. And I go, why? It was a manager position. Because we give you the position, it's because you're black, and it would change the face of the store. And some folks would say to me, like, why don't you just walk out and quit? Well, first of all, I was poor. It's not as easy as you think. Back, this is 30 years ago. So I took the money and the job, but I let them know I was not very happy about that. And later I became a store manager, whatever, but I had to fight some stuff. But that was regular practice. And they thought they were doing me a favor by saying, we're giving you the money, and we'll give you the hours. And it was Monday through Friday for retail. If you ever worked retail, folks, Monday through Friday is good. Like 9 to 5. It was like really a great cushy schedule. But I was like, but I really wanted that position because I was one of the few black people. I wanted that position. I worked hard for it and got it later. But at the time, it was like, that's what was happening regularly. And I told me, I wasn't even out of the closet. Like, I couldn't even be it. I couldn't even mention a man or anything. I couldn't, not at all. So I had to deal with double stuff, and that was normal. And there were no laws in place to protect me at that time. There was nothing happening at that time. So I'm just telling people, we've come a long way in some ways, and that's why we should celebrate that and actually support each other.
Can I say something? Oh, go ahead, Albert.
No, I mean, when it really comes down to support and stuff like that, the reason why I want to sit there, like the reason in the beginning why I want to do the intro, not just because, I want to sit there, get a chance to do it, but just the simple fact that I got people that, James and Brock and DC, you're not just co-work, you're not just people that do, videos with. You are actual, like, real friends. So it's really, I guess, inspiring and stuff like that to, have you, JLJ Media, I got inspired to do lives, and Brock, I got inspired just to do videos. Like, it's really crazy. And then some people sit there and tell me, hey, I started doing reviews or whatever because of you. And I'm just like, that level of synergy, because even DC, like, I guess you were sitting there saying, like, you would sit there and watch Brock or whatever, you watch me, then you started doing reviews and stuff like that. So it's a very interesting dynamic, as far as inspiring each other and, kind of uplifting each other. Because, even in the beginning when I started doing my reviews, BrockTV shouted me out on his channel. He didn't have to do that, but that's just who he is. So again, just to reiterate what you said, it's really important that we do uplift each other and not just look at it like, oh, well, your numbers are higher than my numbers, so I got to sit there and do this, whatever. It's just like, we're all doing our own thing. And like Brock said, it's about different perspectives. So I just want to say that.
It's one of those things where you just, you may not think, it seems so simplistic sometimes. If you don't see it, it almost stops you from doing it sometimes. Like, well, it's for white folks, or it's for women, or it's for this. And I'm always that person that says, you want to see it, be it. That's my life belief. And so I've always tried things because I wanted to see it for myself. But sometimes you don't see it, so you think, well, because when I got to this space, it was and in a space of interviewing that stuff, it's all gay white men, or white men, I should say, or white men who do it. The Michael Fairmans and all these people. I'm like, and they were legends in the game. But I'm like, I came in there and I'm black, and I didn't see anybody else like me, and I still don't see anybody else like me out there who's doing what I do. And it was like, but if I had just stopped, not did anything, so, well, I guess it's for them. That's a disservice to everybody. It's a disservice to other black men who are thinking, well, if he's not doing it, I guess I can't. We want to make sure the door is open and they know that this is for everyone. What we do is for everybody. It does not matter. It's for everyone, not just a certain race or a certain gender or a certain sexuality.
I wanted to add really quickly, that I want to say, first of all, I remember all three of you guys have actually all shouted me at one point. James did back when I had Twitter, which I got rid of that. It's the culture of that. Brock did it through YouTube, and so did Albert. And I remember coming in doing this, like, you guys have all three inspired me. And I think it's one of the coolest things when you have all these different opinions, right? So I remember watching GH in the past when Jason and Britt were together, and BrockTV was like, oh, I love them together. And Albert's like, I don't really care for them too much, right? And see those different types of opinions and seeing how you guys do reviews. And I remember when I even did my first interview on my channel, I was looking at James' channel to kind of get some ideas, like, how am I going to do this thing? And so it's such an inspiration to be with you guys. And I agree. I feel like there is, I could be wrong, from my own perception and my own experience, I feel there's a lot of support with people who do soap reviews. I feel like it's not so much of a crowd on their mentality. There is enough room for everybody because there's always a different opinion. So like I said, I'll go on BrockTV. He'll be like, what the hell was Nina doing? And then Albert will be like, I don't really get Nina. And then James will have Frank on. You guys will give your different takes. And me, I'm like, I love Nina and I'm Team Nina. Everyone knows I'm Team Nina, but it's just like, I love those different views that we can each get from one another.
I agree.
Listen to soap reviews. I love that. I just love the diversity of those opinions that are out there. But anyways, go ahead, Albert.
Well, I already kind of said what I was going to say.
He's all in my ramen right now. UGC. Well, let me take over. I'm James Lott Jr.
No, honestly, I love that. I love that we were able to even just come on, because like I said, you guys are such an inspiration. Because when I first started myself, I was like, is there an audience for this? Do people want to hear, like, people talking about soaps? And I found out that, and now everybody, their mom was doing it now.
Yeah, the thing is, they want it. No, there's a lot of fans who do want to hear it, and and you guys do it every day. I'm all, fuck that shit. I do it once a week, and I'm good to go.
Same here. Pretty much same here.
I give you guys points. So seriously, I give points. I tell Albert all the time. He should be popping up all the time. He's like, Albert's live. He's always fucking live. And so, I go into your lives and I say hi to everybody. I jump on in and say hi. It's just so funny. I love it because you guys do it every day, just about. And that takes a lot of dedication. And you guys have also inspired this young kid, Jacarius, who's doing his every time do his stuff. And it's like, it's cute. I think it's so fun. I'm like, but we all have our thing. Some of us do it on the weekend. Some of us do it. My whole thing, our thing is, because I have co-hosts. most of the time, except for my morning show. It's just me. It's like friends getting together with their favorite show.
Yeah.
That's our motto. That's how it's AfterBuzz TV is. Your friends getting together. We're not gatekeepers. Some people are gatekeepers. Like, you shouldn't like it. Like, no, if we like Brock said, I may like Carly one day and not like her the next day. I may like her this one day, I may like her like it's like, and we have a right to do that. That's because that's how life works. Life's not always just one way or the other. I mean, it's like some weeks General Hospital was wonderful. Recently, it's been actually kind of on fire. Some weeks is boring as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's like that's
it's been pretty much every week.
Some years is boring as fuck. But the whole point is, but that's the whole point. And see, even my buddy Donnell Turner, I love him. # John L. His cursing got my nerves this week. I was like, curse is getting my nerves. That never happens. But that's life. It's like your opinions can change on any given day, and you're sharing them with people. It's we're not gatekeepers. So just saying, well, it's always this way, and that's it. You can't feel any other way, and like, no, we don't do that. Now, there's some folks who do that, and if you like that, you go to them.
I tell people all the time, there's only one person, only one character in the whole damn world who will forever get a pass from me, and I will forever be biased and ride for is fucking Helena Cassinine. That's it.
Yeah, she's good. Yeah,
she can't do no wrong in my eyes. She could go ahead and shoot Laura in the chest, and I love Laura, but she could shoot Laura and Helena to the ends of the earth. She could shoot Elizabeth. She could do what you got to do. You could kidnap Sam, do what you got to do. You could hold a dagger on Christina. I love all of these people, but she would get a pass from me.
And see, the person that I hate the most of all time is Peter.
Oh,
if no one ever brings him back ever again, that history.
I loved Peter. I loved him. One of the best.
I have a whole history and everything. So I'm like, if that name there was never uttered ever again. And when I saw the top 10 GH storylines of all time, People Magazine, people, I love you because you had me in there. I wanted to shoot myself in the face. I was like, Peter's death? Of all the 10,000 storylines that Jesus had over 60 years, your time, and it did great from 1 to like 9. I was like, oh, okay, yes, baby, yes, this, that, click, boom, yeah. And I'm like, Peter's death? Peter, like, who did he fuck? Well, I know who he fucked to get there. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what?
Yikes!
That just blew my mind. Blew my mind. Yeah,
no,
cut
his damn microphone off right now. Cut him off for the powers that be in the daytime world. Fuck us up.
I know, really. It's by association. Sorry, kids.
Listen, I want to say this first and foremost. Laura Wright, I love you. He didn't mean that. What he said.
I love Laura Wright. No, it's fine.
Laura, he didn't. He wasn't trying to disparage your man at all.
Character.
Actually, maybe that explains why he was on for so long.
What?
I never even thought about that. Okay, never mind. I take that back. I didn't say that.
I said character. I didn't say actor. I said character. Peter, character.
No, I know, but I just want her to know. Listen, Peter, we somewhat like you. We somewhat, and I do mean somewhat.
He says, "I do mean somewhat." He says, "Yeah."
Go ahead, Albert. You had a question?
No, I was just going to sit there and say it's really interesting because this is the first time, and we said this behind the scenes or whatever, that Brock and James are doing a video together. Like that's, what I'm saying? Like we work with Brock, we work with James, but this is the first time that you got two practically pioneer legends working together. So like,
those Anthony Zakara,
pretty much.
You always good for that. They make me laugh. You always do that. Oh my God, it's hilarious. Yes. Brock, we're working it out. We're working it out.
See, you've been working my damn nerve in the beginning because you know what, you in that hair movement. See,
let me ask this question.
I just want to thank Miss Jessie's hair care products again. I'll say, go ahead. Yes, DC is a DC. Somebody who shows this? What's going on?
It's Albert's. That was chatting. So guys, let me ask this. He's
eating his ramen. Albert's eating his ramen. Leave him alone. That's what he does. Ramen or ice cream. That's what he does. Come on, that's what he does. That's his brand.
Well, now,
how are we feeling? How are we feeling currently about your thoughts, guys, about the fallout and the aftermath of the supposed paternity reveal on GH? Let me start first with Albert on this one.
It fell flat. Fell flat. Point blank period. It fell flat. I felt like people just gave Portia a pass. And here's the thing. I feel like if this was the 90s, I felt like it would have been a lot more yelling, a lot more shouting, a lot more emotion. But I felt like it was toned down because reasons. So it just fell flat to me.
And Brock, what about you?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Albert. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to sit there and say, but of course, my guy DC is not there giving Portia all the passes in the world. But yeah, now we can sit there and go to Brock. I just wanted to kind of throw some shade in a bit. Just a
okay,
little.
Let me explain that for a second. Let me explain it for a quick second about Portia. The thing about it is, I'll pass off to Brock in a second. The thing is with Portia is that I understand where Portia's coming from because she's the one who wanted to keep her family together. And at the end of the day, according to the gospel, according to Teresa Lopez Fitzgerald on Passions, she technically did not do anything wrong. She technically did not know. So technically she did not really keep nothing from nobody. And I feel like Curtis should be supporting her, if anything. I feel like he's been a little bit selfish because if anything, he should be supporting her and how they're going to help navigate this with Trina. Yes, that's how I feel because okay, hear me out here for a second. Because here's the thing. Okay, so she technically did not know. She could have known. She was a doctor, but okay, she was in the process of finding out. So the only thing I think she did wrong was not telling Curtis her theory. And I agree that it did fall flat because I was expecting the dramatic music, Trina to have a really huge reaction, shouting and screaming, and I didn't get that. I was looking for that 90s soap flair because this has been building up for over a year and a half. So to get that as a reactions, it didn't really sit that same way. But I do feel like Curtis should be supporting Portia and how they're gonna help navigate this with Trina and her changes. I'm pass off.
I want Brock to talk so bad. I think he's gonna say what I think he's gonna say what I'm gonna say. Brock, you take it away. Take it away, Brock.
First and foremost, Curtis should not be supporting that bullshit. I feel like Curtis has been lenient with her ass because he gives he gives Jordan so much shit about the lies she told when they were married, but yet he ain't popping off on Portia though like that. That's what's been pissing me off because I'm like, no, that's why I said in one of my videos, keep that same energy. The same energy you had with Jordan and you still have with Jordan, you need to keep that shit with her too. Because he pops off every little thing Jordan say, he accuses her of lying about something or accuses her of having an agenda. But yet you find out that this heifer lied to you for 20 years. And she basically lied by omission. Because even if you did not know the paternity, you still had an option to do it back then and you did not do that. So how are you not getting mad about that? How do you not pop off on that? I would be mad as shit because that's a lot that he missed out on though. Like first walk, first talk, bike rides, teaching her how to ride a bike, teaching her how to drive, getting her ready for prom, getting her ready for whatever them little school dances they did, father-daughter dances. He was robbed of all of that shit. Potentially robbed because we ain't got the actual DNA yet. So I would say potentially. But it's like, I would listen, some chairs would have been moved. Furniture would have been moved. It would have been, I ain't gonna say domestic because I don't do those, but it would have been bordering on some shit. But it wouldn't have been nothing nice. But I do agree. I felt like the reveal definitely fell flat. Especially from Taggart. I mean, I don't know what type of Zen shit he's in nowadays, but
all that such a non-factor in the storyline.
That's what I'm saying. All that namaste that he doing right now, it ain't working for me. He need to snap out of that namaste and numb your heart and geek you and all that. He need to get up out of that because he should be going off. He should be the main one going off. Like you spent 20 years taking care of, but possibly taking care of somebody else's kid. Like, is Curtis? So if the DNA tests do come back, is Curtis gonna write that man a check for 20 years? Like, I'm just saying, like, you could at least cut the man a little check. I mean, you sitting here giving Nina her money back, you paying this one and that one, you buying beach homes that you can't afford, going to Italy for a honeymoon that you didn't go on. At least you could do is write that man a check. I'm just saying, like, if the child is his. But I agree. I felt like it fell flat, and they should have spiced it up a bit more because that's what I was hoping for. It felt like, okay, so that's it. Y'all just gonna be mad and storm out. Nothing else. Definitely fell flat.
I think also that Taggart wasn't able to have a bigger role because I think that Real Andrews wasn't able to be on for as much as the storyline as he wanted to. It seemed like something was going on.
No,
So I think that's why we barely. That
it.
wasn't the case. Okay.
Yeah, I know
Well,
him.
James knows. He knows.
James, what's your feeling about that?
Brock covered a lot of it, but let me tell you something. I went through it personally. So it wasn't 20 years, but it was 10 years. So fuck that bitch. And I'm like, sorry, you make choices, and I don't care what the choice. I don't care what goes into the choice, but you made a choice to leave someone out of this. And I don't care what you thought I was married, blah blah. It didn't matter. It's like you still say, okay, I know we're not together anymore, but here's what's going on. I'm pregnant, and we figure it out, and the three of them figure it out. That's what should have happened. But for me, the whole scene, it totally fell flat. Renee Watson should have been at the church and with a Bible in hand going, I'm so sorry, Curtis. I'm sorry, baby. But I got to do this. It's weighing heavily on me. Brock, no, I'm right. And she should have been up, because Renee can act her ass off. Emmys, Emmys, go up there and be like, okay, here's the deal. In front of everybody, in front of God and everybody, it should be revealed in front of everyone. That's a classic. They got married. It's like, wait, they just get married? Like, that's the classic soap things have revealed at the wedding. That's why we're all there.
And, I don't mean to cut you up, but I just want to throw it in because you mentioned the wedding. I thought the wedding ceremony was beautiful. The reception.
It was.
I was loving it because I did tweet that, it was a lot of beautiful Black folk at the ceremony that I loved. But my thing was, you gotta, that's I don't know if they got a Black writer on staff, but when you had a Black wedding, there should be the electric slide. There should be some, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It should be some cameo playing on the A-track or something. You should be playing some Etta James.
Yes.
At last or whatnot. I don't know what that techno music was they was playing, but you listen.
Well, yeah. No, but anyway, I just think that, for a soapy thing, a big reveal, it should happen not after the wedding, not in the hotel room separately. It's like, let's protect them from over here. No, it should have been out in the open, messy as fuck, and just like everybody, oh my god, and then then you slowly clear people out, and then you in the church you have the big discussion, and it should have been like you said, Taggart on one side going what the fuck, and then Kurt's on the other side, like, oh my God. And then Trina, like, it should have been this whole thing. But Stella should have been very involved. It should have been part of that. And I feel like they cheated us out of all of that. There's been a lot of missteps with the Black people on the show. Somebody's story. Thank God now I love Marshall and Curtis. I hated that whole first part of the storyline of Marshall's on another story. And one of those scenes I did like that made me, I actually told Donnell this, when Marshall was playing the clarinet. And Curtis had tears in his eyes watching. I thought, we never see a Black father and son have moments like this on television. I thought that was very cool. I thought that was really cool. So you could still had all of that, and maybe at the reception it comes out. Like it was just like I just felt like it should have been happening in that room, and so that's what bugged me the most. So I agree with you guys; it fell flat for that reason. And then you said, they literally just all went their separate ways. And Trina slid into the whole Esme Spencer thing. So, like, she's over here now. So it's like, it's just the pacing of the show sometimes bugs the shit out of me. And pacing bugs, it just drives me and my co-host Frank Moran, nuts.
And I want to add to that about the pacing because, right now I'm still watching Another World, 1980s, and their pacing is super slow from back then. And you remember 90s soaps and stuff like that, but this pacing is so all over the place. It's so choppy, right? There's no organization because literally Miss Wu is back in the mix. And with Miss Wu, it's kind of like they started off with her strong. We don't know where we're going. And now, even just last week, it's like the writers finally remembered like that Anna and Valentine's missions to figure out who killed Luke. Because I'm like, do they even know where that storyline is going? So I have my moments of GH where I wondered that if they know it's because the pacing is just so like I said, even just the build up from the Curtis storyline, we have a year of fallout just to only get that. And this whole Marshall thing, it's just a mess. It's a mess. So I just wanted to add that part.
It's just so it's okay. We go, you're right. Young and Restless was known, right? The whole Malcolm Lily reveal took like 100 years. They're known for slow. Like there were things were known for slow, but stuff happened. It was like you kind of almost knew that some shows went faster than others, or at least there was a lot of action in between. So yeah, I mean, you may be screaming, "When's it gonna come out? When's it gonna come out?" Like Dave's was good for that too. When's it gonna come out? When's it gonna come out? But they do you a lot of stuff in between to keep you going. And that's but some of these shows, it's just same scene after same scene after boring people after boring person after boring person. Like, okay, let's get. I mean, the Quartermains. I'm like, why aren't they front and center? I don't understand. I mean, they do it for a while and they forget about it for a while. They bring it back and it's like, what is going on? At least Bold and Beautiful is very open. They do 1 or 2 storylines at a time, basically run those out, go to the next one. They don't purport to like, you know, I mean, they have a smaller cast anyways. They don't care. But like a lot of these other ones, it's like they forget people. Like, oh, let's just sprinkle her back in. Jordan is beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful.
She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous.
I saw the Emmys, I was like, oh, my name is Tanisha. I was like, oh my God, she is like stunning. Why is she like a love interest of somebody? Somebody.
She's turning into a Paul Williams on the show. She's slowly turning into a Paul Williams. I'll see that, right? She's slowly turning into a Paul Williams.
I said that. I've been said that in a few of my videos. I said, why is a gorgeous, black, accomplished woman in a very high demanding job, why is she single? Like,
I keep getting her and TJ are mother and son. I was like, I said, let's see them together. I was like, oh, they look good together. Oh, they're mother and son. That's right. I forgot. I mean, black don't crack, but it's a little crazy. They're doing some Benjamin Buttoning in here. It's a little crazy. I mean, hello. But yes, she's beautiful. So I don't understand why she's not in a better storyline with somebody. I mean, at the very least. Sorry, DC, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, so even look at it because you just mentioned B&B earlier about how they're trying some different things because we all know B&B has recycled crazy storylines for years, and we're seeing some differences now. Mm-hmm. And I want to talk about how do you guys feel about the Twilight Zone that is currently B&B with Sheila in a love triangle, because that feels like the Twilight Zone to me. And I'm going to start off with Albert. He's like the new kid of the block with B&B. They're going to start with us. Albert, what are your thoughts on that? Because I believe if she can get somebody, anybody can. There's hope for us all.
I mean, this whole thing is just crazy with Deacon. 1 minute, he can't stand her. He wants to kick her out. Next thing you know, he's there trying to fight to get her back. And I'm just like, I feel like this is late Stockholm Syndrome at this point with Deacon. I feel like this is... It is what it is, but it's like now you got 2 men there fighting over Sheila. 2 men fighting over psychotic Sheila. This is where we're at on B&B. I always sit there and say that B&B is my favorite soap opera comedy because there's just a lot of times where it's very difficult to take that show seriously. So I'm finding it very interesting. Of course, you got like Zombie Bill that barely says like 1 or 2 things. Now he's starting to talk more. So like, there's a whole thing with that, but like this whole love triangle thing is just, it's so weird. It's weird, but at the same time, again, I go back to Brooke and Taylor. I'm like, people are flipping out over just the idea that they're together, even though they don't have an LGBT couple, but people are okay with, Sheila getting in a love triangle with Deacon and Bill. So I'm just like, what's like where's people's perspective with this at, What about you, James?
So I've been saying this to my vlog. I love they put in the Bold and the Beautiful. Because remember, they were the first soap opera that came back when there was no soaps on the air. They were the first TV show production to go back in Hollywood. And they used mannequins. They used bad weaves. They used people's boyfriends. We laughed. We had a good time with it. But they were trying to get back in production and get people back to work. And again, I keep trying to tell people, there is not just the actors on screen. There is crew that's not working and not getting paid. There's this working and not getting so I was like, they're doing what they can. So to me, the show is a little outrageous, just like Days of Our Lives can be very outrageous. But I tell people they're doing something. You said you were tired of them fighting over Ridge. They chose themselves. Well, there you go. It's something different. Exactly. I applaud that. It's like you wanted something different, so here you go. It's like but now you're pissed that they're friends. Or now they're too friendly. Well, what do you want? Do you want them to fight over Ridge like that's been going on for 30 years? Or do you want them to have something new going on? Having Brooke on a date with somebody else, like why not? Like it's something different. The Bill shit, like I'm intrigued because I don't know where the fuck this storyline's going. But I'm intrigued because it's something different. It's something different. Douglas choosing his aunt, I thought that was hilarious. I was like, well, why wouldn't he? His parents are fucked up. They're all got all kind of drama going on. I thought it's something different. So I'm like, so to me with Bold, I love talking about Bold because I'm like, it's cuckoo crazy for Cocoa Puffs. but I love it because at least it's something. We're all saying we're tired of seeing the same recycle. There's only 7 or 8 tropes you can do anyway in a soap opera. It's more about twists and turns, how you turn on its ear. But after a while, sometimes these shows, you guys all know this, are lazy. They just throw us together. I mean, do I want to see Liz and Finn? No. On GH, I don't want to see them together at all. Ugh, they're boring. But at least on Bold, give me a mannequin going crazy. Give me a fake Hope doll. I'm all in. Why not? I'm like, why? I thought the acting was amazing. I thought that when he had his mental breakdown, Thomas had his mental breakdown, the why was amazing. You know, I just think it's with Bold, we have to kind of say, okay, they're trying some different stuff because they're listening to you guys out there. You said you were tired of this, and this. So they're giving you something different. You're tired of Liam and Hope and whatever. So when they shot Steffi and killed Finn, I was shocked. Like, what? It's something different. I was like, I actually applaud them, even though I said there's something, it's not perfect soap opera at all, but I applaud them for at least doing something different in 35 years of a soap opera.
Brock?
I totally agree. That love triangle with Deacon, Bill, and Sheila, that shit is throwing me for a loop. I'm like, listen, y'all fighting over a 9-toe psychotic. What the fuck is y'all? Because Bill, I've been side-eyeing the shit out of Bill. I'm like, is that necklace got some type of poison in it that's controlling us? Or like, what? Because he be looking a certain way. Like, and before when they first got together, he looking down, not speaking. She speaking for him. I'm like, where the fuck is Bill at? I'm like, and now he's starting to assert himself. Now I said, oh, okay, now we got the dollar bill back. I said, all right. You was making me nervous for a moment, because he let that shit be known. He was like, listen, she know better. He said she crossed me in any way. That's her ass. I said, now that's the Bill that I know. Come on, Bill. Don't let that witch get away with none of this. Take her ass out. Deacon, I don't know. That man just plumb crazy at this point. I definitely agree. I think he got some type of Stockholm syndrome over her. You know, just stuck in that little ass box apartment. And that's my thing too. Like, he got a restaurant now. Use some funds from that restaurant, get you a bigger home or something. Because that little ass tool shed that he live in just won't do. You live in LA. Come on now. And because my thing is, that's what I do love about Bold. And that's what I loved about it for so long, is that it's sexy. It has that sex appeal to it. Because everybody on the damn show look A1. You know what I mean? Like, you don't see not one ugly motherfucker on the cast. Not a one.
Not one, not at all.
They could be in their 50s. Brooke is in her, what, 60? And look fine.
Well, Don Diamont just turned 60, and I think Kim Brown just did too. Yeah.
Exactly.
Still looking good.
Everybody just aged like fine wine. You know what I mean? In the younger set, you know, the ones in their 20s and 30s look good. Because listen, I've been said this. I would go fucking crazy if they found a way to write it in there that some shit went down with Steffi and Finn and they had to go to OnlyFans. I would be the first subscriber. Lord, every time I see the two of them, I'd be like, damn.
That water birth, I said on my show, I go, that was the sexiest water birth I ever seen in my entire life. And they were moaning and really good. I was like, what the fuck? I interviewed Homeboy, and I was like, we went from Liberty Bibberty to Sex in the Pool. I mean, like, what the fuck's going on here? He's like, yeah, it's so close. I go, yeah, close. I'm like, I ain't never seen a birth that was that sexy in a water birth. I've never seen it for my entire life.
That shit is crazy. I'm actually surprisingly loving the Brooke and Taylor friendship, because at first I was like, hold up. And then now the more I see them, I never thought I would see some shit like this. Cause I'm like, you inviting homegirl to live with you, and I'm like, that is crazy. I was like, but I'm loving it because I agree. It's something new, it's fresh. Y'all not losing y'all damn marble over no stupid ass man. That can't, I mean, who in their right mind at that big age want to be fighting over somebody who can't make up their mind?
Thank you.
That just it's not realistic in the slightest. I'm like, it don't take months, years to figure out who you want to be with. I'm like, it should take you no more than 5 minutes to be like, okay, the one I want to be with. I mean, like, it's just common sense. If you're with somebody who runs off to go kiss on somebody else, all because they think you did something and they won't even tell you what the fuck you did, I was screaming at the TV watching, bro, if you don't fucking divorce him. I was like, this man is sitting around family, married to you, and got his arm draped all over his ex-wife. I said, what type of stupid shit is this?
Thank
I
you.
said, Brooke, go over to that mansion and snatch him the fuck up. Don't even confront Taylor. Whoop his ass. That's
Exactly.
the one. Because my thing is, Ridge is the one she should be hollering and screaming at, because that's the one that owes you the loyalty and the respect, because you're married to him. I never understood the Taylor versus Brooke rivalry like that over no dude. I never understood that. I'm like, y'all going crazy, and he just sitting back letting y'all do the shit. I'm like, neither one of y'all need to be with this fool. And I'm glad after 30 years, I don't know why it took that long, but after 30 years, they finally got some common sense and said, fuck Ridge, let's be besties. I'm like, it's about damn time. And she,
and you know, Brock, the thing is, when and they've talked about it on the show, they literally have said things fans have said, I think, and it's in the dialogue. They're like, and we were doing this, and we were doing that, and we were, and it's like, yeah, the fans were saying it for years. And I think also the two of them are two dynamic women. They probably would have been friends if they didn't have, you know, the man in the middle. I think to me, it completely makes sense to me now. Makes sense.
yeah, it's weird. I'm just like, but I'm glad they finally got some sense about each other and became friends. I hope they could keep it up. Another thing I do want to bring up is real quick, because it drives me crazy every episode that I see this. Hope and Liam in that fucking cabin. You work for Spencer Publications. She is the creative director for a line, a depressing clothing line at Forrester Creations that should have been shut down a long time ago. But she's in charge of that. Y'all got money to move. Like, why are y'all in this cabin with these kids in a cabin? That should
You
be
got to remember that Liam was a hippie. He was a hippie when he first came to LA.
Well,
right? That whole hippie thing
you
going
know
on.
what? But Hope ain't no hippie. She come from money. He need to leave. She need to leave his hippie ass in the cabin then. If that's what he like living, then you go live. Me personally,
well,
I
Deacon
want
is her father, so she's half money, half bum at the same time.
you can't have step when you got money like that. I mean, I understand people like to, you know, they don't like to live too lavishly. Now, I'm not saying you got to get a Brooke type of house or a Forrester Mansion type of home. But get you something nice, you know what I mean? Like, just something decent that match your status, like at least where you at in life. You know what I mean? Same thing with Steffi and Finn. I love the Cliff House, but no. That house is.
I like the Cliff House. I don't mind the Cliff House.
I like it, but it's more vacation to me. I'm like, y'all got kids. Y'all need something different. You know what I mean? Like, y'all need something a little different. The Cliff House is nice, but that's somewhere I would go for a vacation. It's not my main home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But remember, Victor and Nikki, their main home was a ranch on YNR.
That ranch
is
money
for days.
Listen, I said this a long time ago about that ranch. They had no reason to tear that shit down. All they had to do was take them ugly drapes down, get rid of that ugly ass couch, get something new, modern, because the furniture they got in the new ranch, that shit look like it's from IKEA. It don't even match a billionaire status. Like, it does. That home does not look like a billionaire lives in that home. It don't. It looks too congested to me.
It does.
I'm like, it's too much going on in that little ass home.
That's true.
I mean, I understand, you know, the budgets ain't what it used to be now, but I mean, shit, even GH, all them, I mean, shit, they got the mansions looking like mansions for the most part. They even added extra rooms to the Quartermain house. You know what I mean? Like, that's the least Y&R could do. Like, stretch that damn house out or something. You know what I mean? Like, make it look like something. Get rid of some of that gaudy furniture. But one more thing I do want to touch up on Bold real quick is that damn Hope for the Future line. It don't make sense to me that Thomas, out of everybody in LA in the fashion world, everybody in France, everybody all over in the fashion mecca of the world, Thomas is your only person that could save that line. So you're not going to use up and coming designer who know what they're doing. You're not going to use them. You're just going to use Thomas. I'm like, that just don't make sense.
Well, Zednik is being pushed aside. He's a Forrester. He's being pushed aside.
Oh, I ain't like how they played Zende out. They try to make it seem like Zende and Eric ain't know what they was doing with that line.
Exactly.
I ain't like that at all. because I'm like, nah, y'all not gonna play them out. And Liam is just pissing me off at this point, talking about no hope. You can't just have Thomas come back, sir. Her business ain't got shit to do with y'all marriage. Like, you need to mind your business and go get some business. Shouldn't you be at Spencer, wherever the hell he working these days?
Oh yeah.
Where do he work nowadays? He work at Spencer?
I don't know what he does.
Well, then go be a hippie.
He works nerves. That's what he works.
Well, he can go be a hippie in the cabin, but mind your business about the person that's bringing in the money.
Yes.
It's just like, at the end of the day, you worried about this affecting y'all marriage. I'm like, Thomas is a part of y'all personal life anyway. So what's the issue with him coming back to work? It is no different. Like, he just need to mind his little gaudy little business. So I would have knocked him clean out. You tell me how to run my shit. And you ain't even got nothing of your own. Like, we living in a cabin because you want to be a hippie.
In a cramped cabin. Let's be honest, it's a very cramped cabin with 4 people if you include Douglas. But I said that though too. I was like, bro, you're not signing anybody's checks. You're not sitting there at Forrester signing one's checks, so why are you sitting there talking for? But, of course, whenever I sit there and say I'm wrong and I'm mean, so, that's just a whole other story. I will sit there and say.
But, I want to say that, like, looking at B&B lately, like, I have to admit, like, what James is saying, like, we finally getting something different. What they were talking about with because Ridge and Brooke thing, I was getting so tired of it, and Ridge going like, RJ needs his parents together. Her crying at every scene. I couldn't go through for another year because I've watched B&B since 2006. And I remember that time I used to read the soap opera weeklies, and people would say, man, we've been going through this for 10, 20 years. And it went on for another 20 at that point, right? So I'm glad we were free for that. But lately, even watching the show, I'm kind of wondering, are we in LA or are we in Harmony? Because it's giving passions, right? With the whole Sheila and Bill and Deacon thing.
Right. Somebody
yeah. I feel like I'm watching Passions when I'm watching the show, but I got to give it to B&B for just doing these new type of storylines, and even with the Brooke and Taylor friendship, because like you said, like BrockTV said, like after some point in time, like how much more longer can you keep fighting over the same man? And I start to wonder, do they have any water on the set? Because if I have to hear Thorsten K yell one more time, I'm like, get this man a bottle of water. Every time I hear Rich yell on the show,
like he be talking like he got a lot of phlegm build up or something.
I'd like get this man a bottle of water. You know what I'm saying? Like,
just cough, let it out, let all that phlegm out, go blow your nose.
And a lot of times when he's on set, it reminds me of I see him as Ridge, but obviously I'm used to Ron Moss in the role because that's the way I started watching B&B. So to me, I still see Zach Slater / Patrick Thornhart from One Life to Live when I'm watching Thorsten K a little bit. But I get it. Ron Moss is ready to be done. He got to do his own thing. Because this is my theory. I always feel like when they bring a new a recast into the role, they try to recreate scenes with characters of the past or romance of the past. That way they could use that for flashbacks. I always say that. And I feel like that's why they had the whole scene of him walking up the steps with her, when he was walking up and to go see Brooke, and they used that flashback 20 times with Thorsten K because they were trying to establish a new base and timeline and that chemistry. But for me, watching it with B&B lately, like I said, I think that the Sheila storyline is good. I get it. Kimberly Brown is on a contract for the next 2 years. And I think they learned from GH they don't want to do another Peter August situation with Sheila. So they had to do something different that would insult our intelligence as viewers. Because I love Peter August, but that did go on for way too long. Like it went on for too long on GH. And that's the story for the day. But I do like the uniqueness of it. But I feel like if Sheila can find love, we all can find love.
Now, let me ask a question just in general about like what we do and stuff like that. And I'm gonna start off with James. What do you think is the best part about what you do? Like as far as like when we come on and stuff like that. Like what do you feel is like the best part about what you do? Like as far as interacting with the fans and stuff like that. Like what is your best part that you feel like you do? I mean, oh, this one is really getting to me. What is the best part that you like about your job as far as being on YouTube and stuff?
Yeah, no, it's the fans. So I mean, number one, it's the actors, my fellow hosts. That stuff's fun also, and I've become friends with many of the actors and producers and writers. It's very nice, but it's the fans. Like I literally would not be here if it wasn't for the fans. The fans show up for my shows. They've given me opportunities. They paying for my channel, my channel, they make money on my channel when they view it, they do other stuff. I mean, they give themselves a nickname, the Lotties. I love my Lotties. Shout out to them. I mean, I've been working hard for 9 years on this thing and 15 years in the business total. And it's a cutthroat business. It's not for the faint at heart. It's very tough. And if you're a black man, it's even harder. If you're a gay black man, it's even harder. It's a lot so much harder, but I never give up. I'm a fearless person. I just bust my way through. But the fans carry me through. That's the best part. Meeting fans and getting recognized and in public, and they're like, oh my God, you know, well, I get recognized for several things, but for the soap side of this, it's kind of like they feel like they know you also, just like they so like the soap actors. They feel like, no, oh my God, I loved you. I love when they tell me something. I loved your interview with so and so, and they'll actually tell me what parts they liked. That means they watched my show. I prepared for that interview. Every interview I do, I prepare for them. It wasn't I just woke up and was like, okay, we just ask you questions. You know, I sat down, prepared it. I booked that interview. I earned that interview. I mean, there's a lot that goes beyond just the actual interview itself before you even get there. So when fans tell you, or even people like Brock said, I've enjoyed your video with so-and-so, like, to me, it's like great. It means that it wasn't in a vacuum. I just put it out there and like nobody watched it. There was a lot of hard work went into it, and that person gave their time and trusted me to talk to them. And not everybody talks to everybody. I mean, it's a very, you know, when Eric Braden, I can say is a friend of mine, and literally he doesn't talk to everybody. And so when he requests me and says, I want to talk to James Lott Jr. about 40 years on Y&R, I drop everything. I do everything. Okay, whatever he wants, he gets. But I make sure that my questions are good. He doesn't start full lightly. And I make sure my questions are good. So he helps me up my game. And then the fans get the residual of that. They get to see this great interview we have, this exchange we have together. And then they tell me later, oh my God, I loved your interview with Eric. I loved your interview with Tracy Bregman. I loved your interview with, like, I love it. I mean, to me, that's what it's about. It's you know, I want to ask you a question about what you think about this storyline. I mean, it's fun. It's like, I never thought, like Brock said, in a million years, we started a long time ago, that anybody outside of the channel would even give a shit about what I'm doing. Like I just never thought. You know, I've been nominated for I've won awards. I mean, like for this kind of stuff. Like this is so weird. Like this was never on the. And I'm in my 50s. So I started this later in life. So I mean, I'm a grandfather of 5. I'm out there just doing my thing. Like I never thought this part of it would happen for me. You know, so for me, the best part is that I'm at the table. Every single thing that I've gotten in this business, I earned it. It was not given to me. I started from scratch. I started from scratch in my 40s. Started from scratch. I am an overweight, loudmouth, gay black man who got in the business and said, I'm gonna work my way, blaze my way through here. And every relationship, every connection, every channel I work with, everything, I earned it. I put in the hard work. And I think that's something I think the fans see that I'm not just some guy who's on here just trying to get views and just trying to be, you know, I cry on my shows. I laugh at my shows. You know, I talk shit on my shows. We are Shady Sundays. We do everything. We do have a good time, but I've worked very hard. So the best part to me is when the fans actually go, Jay, that was really good, Jay. Thank you for doing that. Or, thanks for that show, or thanks for this, or you're one of my favorites. It's not an ego thing, it just feels good. It's just like that's the best part of this whole thing, because I don't feel like I'm just talking to myself. And it just goes to the wall and that's it. So that to me, that's the best part of this whole business.
Brock?
Honestly, I agree a lot with that. You know, it's definitely the people, because I like to think that, you know, a lot of the subscribers and stuff, I view them as co-hosts in a way. You know what I mean? Like I'm talking to them and, you know, they're giving me their feedback on how they feel about things. You know, it's fun. You know what I mean? To see what everybody got to say, because we just be in the comments just laughing. I'll be watching, reading everybody's comments, just laughing my ass off at the jokes that were made and the shit that was said during that episode and whatnot, because it should be hilarious.
Oh yeah.
So it just makes my day to see that, because it takes me from whatever mood I'm in and makes it better. You know what I mean? Because I tell people all the time, you never know what somebody's going through in life. So it's like, if you can be a light to somebody and laughter or whatever, it's the best thing. You know what I mean? Because I feel like laughter is the best policy. You know, that's why I like to joke a lot on my shows, on my videos. I like to just joke. You know what I mean? You can't take it seriously. You know what I mean? You cannot take it seriously because it's not meant to be that. You know what I mean? You don't want to be no, you know, that type of person to take life serious, take this serious. It's not fun that way. So I just like to have fun. You know what I mean? Have fun with the people that come in and comment. Even when you get the disgruntled ones that won't take anything too serious, I just be throwing like little hints of sarcasm and all that in there, seeing if they're gonna catch it. Like, you know, I am being sarcastic right now with your ass. But I laugh at that too. I might block you later, but I'm gonna laugh at it. Because you got some that get too disrespectful, but it's like, you know, it comes with the territory.
Yeah.
You know, and I just laugh at that shit later on too. But it's a rewarding thing, you know what I mean? Like, it's very fun, you know. Like I said, anybody out here can work retail or work whatever, a 9 to 5, and it doesn't really fulfill you. You know, all it does is it's a check. That's all you see it as. You know, it's just paying this, paying that. That's it. You know, it's not something that fills you up. You know what I mean? Mentally, spiritually, it just doesn't fill you. So this, I feel like this platform, it fills you. It fulfills you. It makes you happy. You know what I mean? It's like it's like therapy in a way. You know, for whatever you're going through personally, work wise, you pop that button or turn it on and you just go. You know what I mean? And you just forget. It makes you forget about any damn stress you had that day, that week. Makes you forget. And I love doing it, you know?
You see?
I would say one of the best things, in addition to the subscribers, is just like opportunity connections I've been able to make, especially with you guys. You know, I remember even just having my first interview on my channel. That was something that blew me away. Like, I'm like coming in, I'm like, what, a year and doing all that. So I think that's been amazing. And I think just being able to do this channel, like Brock was saying about how not taking yourself serious, is I used to do those wacky skits and stuff and just have fun with it. But I think I would say this: there's probably a lot of things in my life I have been consistent with, but one thing I can say I've been most consistent with is watching soaps. And there's nothing else I haven't consistent with. It's watching soaps. That's been the most consistent thing. I think it's been 17, 18 years now, right? Since 06, probably a little bit longer, probably. But I mean, to me, like, just being able to share my thoughts and connect with the subscribers and the chats and the comments and stuff like that, it's been amazing. Like Brock said, and Brock and James said, there are some hecklers that you may get, you know, sometimes in the comment section. Some people be doing way too much. And some people, you wonder if they have an alter like Vicky from One Life to Live, because they're just like a whole different person, right? But it's been, honestly, like, it's been amazing. Like I said, just being able to connect with you guys and be here. And like I said, this is the opportunities I've been afforded. Like I said, like, one of the biggest milestones, like I said, like, to know that I was able to get a Hollywood director, like, that's something I'm still thinking about. Like, this, that blows my mind. I was able to have the opportunity to do that interview. And sometimes I don't really think about it too much, but my mom's like, well, that's big. Like, the director of General Hospital, show I've been watching for like close to 20 years now. I got the director. Like, I was able to interview him, ask him questions. And to me, that was an amazing opportunity. I didn't even see that coming. And he was watching my channel. I didn't even know. Like, he's on comments and say, hey, great, great video. I loved it. And I was like, you're watching my channel? Okay.
He's a nice guy in it. Fido
Fido is so nice. And I mean, and just being able to connect with Albert and James and Brock, and you guys all shouting me out, I think that's been amazing. And then, of course, it's the subscribers, they're amazing support. And like Brock said, they do kind of feel like co-hosts sometimes, you know, with you, you know. And it's just been amazing having that type of connection. And I think for me, like, I think what Brock said, it does feel therapeutic at times. Because when I first started this channel, I know I was a little bit depressed at the time, going through some things. And when I started this channel, it felt good to talk about soaps, because for the longest time, I never had nobody talk about soaps. I was a young Black kid. Who else watching soaps? I'm by myself on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could talk to you about all my children like in 7th, 8th grade. Who was I able to talk to about that? I mean, granted, my family is an ABC daytime family, but they stopped watching soap until I started watching it. So, but for me, it was just very therapeutic. Like I said, just connecting with that. And it's so cool that there's so many other people that I can share this experience with. Because there was a time back in the day it wasn't cool to watch soaps. Let's not forget, guys. It's all right now, but there was a time back in the day it was not cool to be a soap watcher, you know?
I mean, they open now, but the way some people are nowadays, it's like they still condemn you for certain things you watch or listen to. And it's just like, I used to be like that when I was a teenager, always cared about what somebody thought. And as older, I just said, fuck you, fuck it. I'm gonna watch, listen to what I want. I don't care. You don't pay my bills. Even if you do, I'm still gonna do what I want. That's just, how you got to look at it sometimes. It's like, you got to cloud out other people's negative ass opinions. You know, it's like people make watching something taboo. I'm like, okay, well, the shit that you watch on Showtime or whatever, that's soap like as well. I mean, did they not just get divorced and she married somebody else too? That's soap like. So I'm like, what are you talking about? Did they not just kidnap a child? All the shit you're watching, they do in daytime. So
I mean, soaps paved the way for everything. I mean, Erna Phillips set that tone all the way down the line. People don't even realize that. Like, I don't want to go as far as say this, but I feel like most of the stuff we see on TV is because of soaps. It's because of Guiding Light and what is it? These Are My Children by Erna Phillips. She set that tone that we're in right now. I don't feel like people even understand that. That woman set the tone. You know what I'm saying? So I would even say, let's go as far as she is the ultimate pioneer of soaps. We wouldn't even have this genre probably without her. But to me, like I said, like connecting with people, being able to talk about the genre, and then there's all these different connections that make to make people. That's been the most amazing part of doing this. And then subscribers, they become like family. You know, you kind of just start seeing them, the chats and the comments, and you really start to bond with them. So that's been one of the coolest parts for me. And I love it. And I can't wait to see what else going to happen. Like I said, this is a full circle moment right now, the four of us. Like this is full circle for me. So I mean, just to know, I saw James on AfterBuzz all those years ago, and then on Edition Day segments they had, and watching BrockTV, my dorm back in 2012, and then when I decided to finally come on YouTube, the first person I saw was Albert, and I was like, I hope I can do a collab. Like I used to have that thought in my mind, I hope I can do a collab with one of these guys one of these days, and now all three of you guys. So it's like I love it.
I love it.
It's fun for me.
Same here, but I got to tell you something. You know, I've had the other sides. I've had stalkers. I've had death threats. I was a hashtag once on Twitter recently. I had a lot of stuff happen to me and I speak out on colorism. I speak out on ageism. I speak out on a lot of stuff, and I've gotten people really mad at me and upset with me. Where I got into star fights with people like Robin Strasser. We've got into a huge Twitter war years ago. There's a lot of stuff that's happened. I look back at my almost 9 years doing soap opera stuff. It's been a roller coaster ride, and I've learned a lot about people's behavior and people's behavior. I'll say that, people's behavior. So it's very interesting. So I've had the bad side too. I've had the other side of it too.
Yeah.
What about you, Albert?
I mean, well, as far as my experience or whatever,
Yeah,
or just well, I mean,
as far
as my experience, it's just been very surreal. You know, again, I got inspired by Brock TV to sit there and start doing these reviews, and James to start doing these live streams, and it's been surreal in the fact that's like the fact I get to sit there and talk to people every day. I get to sit there and know them and stuff like that. Like I get to know certain things about them, like when they're live stream and stuff like that. So I just want to see people I've been, you know, that are like my regulars and stuff like that. And like even and I've said this to James and DC and stuff like that. Nathaniel Gray has been in my chats recently, just talking and stuff like that, and like just even thinking about that, like the possibility that I can get an interview. I talked to him before. It's like it's like I wake up or whatever. It's like this is my life. Like this is crazy, but in a good way now. And even the first time I saw Nathaniel Gray and I talked to him, what I was like, okay, so this is what James, because you've been dealing with, like that, for a while. So it's like, wow, this is crazy. This is what James, this is kind of like James' world a little bit. So, of course, I talk to James, and if I, need advice or whatever, I go to James and stuff like that. But it's like I said, it's just been crazy in a good way now, and especially working with
a great way. It's like
exactly. And also working with. No, I'm saying also working with Brock and working with James and DC and stuff like that's just been an amazing ride. I would say that much. And what was you gonna say, James?
I would say this world is small. I would say you never know who's watching your shit.
Yeah,
that's what
yes.
I would say.
I remember you said that.
I always say that. Just be yourself. Be fully who you are. Do it. And you never know who's gonna watch, like a Fido Xavier or a Daniel Gray. Or if somebody like people like me, it was like that's how I first met Michelle Stafford, and then they're like watching my show, and they're like, "I want to come on. That's fun." Or I like your opinion, or I don't like your opinion, but you're so dynamic, Brock. I want to talk to you. Like you never know who's actually watching your stuff.
You also had the director of One Life to Live in your chat too, James, that one time.
Yeah, that's what I say. Fido Xavier and our friends.
Yeah.
I've interviewed him, known for years, but he watches people's stuff. Mark Teschner, who's the guy the casting god on General Hospital, he watches the internet. He watches the internet to see what's going on. I know Alan Locker. I helped him out when he first started 3 years ago, and now he's getting bigger and bigger. And again, I used to be behind the scenes at Guiding Light, you know, but I met him and we became friends, and I helped him set things up. And you never know who's watching what you're doing, going, I like that person, or I'm curious about them. And that actually helps Ella. And they may mention you in their story or mention you on their Twitter or comment. And then all of a sudden, all their people go, who's BrockTV? And they go over there. I saw in chat just now. I like to think everybody knows who I am, but apparently there are folks who don't know who I am. And I see the chat.
Oh, we know, James. You international. We know. Everybody.
Anthony Zakara of soaps. I told you guys.
I'm big in Nigeria. No. But the thing is, I tell people, be yourself. Do the show that you want to do. The audience will find you. That's the thing. Don't try to placate or cater to people. Be who you are. If you want to do crazy intros like DC does, where I always laugh, they're like, you just do it, because someone's going to like it. They're going to see it. If you want to film it in the basement, film it in the basement. You want to film while he's eating ramen and ice cream. To me, I always remember it that way. It's like a thing. So it's like, that's the whole point. And BrockTV is such a great branding title. It's like BrockTV. It's like, there it is. And so when I saw your name, I was like, oh, that's your real name. When I saw it later on something else, I was like, oh, but that's a great branding. That's a great brand thing right there. It's like, it's simple. It's just right there. You can't forget it, and it stands out. So I think it's just, I love it. I love this business. It's crazy. It's cuckoo. I love it. Everybody knows James is. Thank you, Gwen Marie. No, it's because I spread myself everywhere. That's why. But it's just I love this. I think it's just something that it should be fun, and people want to be attracted to fun.
Exactly.
I do. I'm hearing in chat, everybody's like, Brock's hilarious. I love Brock's reviews. It's all hilarious. I see their chat all tonight. I'm seeing their chat. That's the point. It should be they should be saying that, going, I love Brock's reviews. I always go back to him. But it's like, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, you should definitely
come to our channels for us too. Oh, go ahead, Brock.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that, like, I was just gonna say, like, people, and that's a big thing I realized when the reviews is that people come for the reviews and they stay for us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yes. They come for the reason they stay for us, stay for our personalities. Sometimes, like, when I see the crazy on days, I'll go to our channel because I know he's gonna grind it up. Or if I'm like, oh man, that was such a great scene, I love that, I'll go to BrockTV. You know what I'm saying? Or if I was like, man, that person looked good, I was like, let me see what Jay's gonna say, because Jay's like, oh yeah, that person was hot.
I'm a dirty old man. I'm always about who's hot, who's not, all the time.
Yeah, I'm glad, because I do the same shit. I'm looking at days and B&B like, oh y'all some hot motherfuckers up here, and that's why I love days is on Peacock, because I'm like, listen, them scenes, I'm just gonna say, between Gwen and Alex, and I'm just like, well, they don't never have a bad romance scene. Let's just put that out there. I love that shit.
Let's just say Alex sometimes has some sweatpants on, and I'm just like, I'm in.
Or Xander, when Xander's in the scene.
Xander, like my boy Paul Telfer. I mean, the chest of life. I mean, he's like,
that scene between him and Leo, that was like real. I was like, are they about to really do this?
I was like, is this just for fans? I'm like, what's going on over here? I was getting excited. I was like, okay. I was getting there. And, yeah.
No, I will sit there and say this as far as what DC said and what James said, as far as doing reviews and stuff. Like, James said to me at one point, it's like, people already watch the show. It's not really so much about the show as much as your perspective. And I always sit there and think about that sometimes, even when I'm doing my reviews, because I could be sitting there doing reviews for like maybe a year and something. But, hearing that from James or whatever, like, I always sit there and try to learn stuff from people. I learn from DC, I learn from Brock, I learn from James and stuff like that. And again, with the whole live stream and having Nathaniel in my live chat or whatever, it was like, the first person I thought about was James, because James always sit there and say, you never know who's watching, they're watching me. And at first I was like, what does that mean? And then I was like, okay, now I know what James is sitting there talking about. I was like, now it actually, it clicked,
It was funny because I do daytime today also on my JLJ this morning. And so when a big soap news story happens, people tell me, they run to me first. They'll go, we want to see what James thinks. If something happens, see what James thinks really quick. Because I'll tell the truth, shame the devil. So I'm like, they want to see what I'm going to say. And then I say, I love it because you're training them kind of to go, okay. And so someone in the chat was like, I go to Brock real quick, see what Brock's going to say about it. That's what you want. It's like you want them because seriously, most of the folks have already watched the episodes. Most. There are some folks who don't watch but listen to you. But that doesn't mean you have to just straight up recap. I've seen some people, I'm not going to name names, I'm not going to throw that much shade, but I've seen people just like, they just recap the show. You can find recaps online anywhere. You can read it on soap.com, wherever you can get, but like, it's like, what do you think about that episode? That's what they want to know.
And that's what I like to do because, for me, I like to go scene by scene. Mm-hmm. I don't go in order of it happening, of when it happened. I just pick a scene. You know, pick a scene, talk about that scene, then we're gonna move on to the next scene and get my opinion on that scene. It's just more organized that way for me. Because especially with GH, a lot happens on there. It's a lot of characters. It's some days where more, how do I put it? It's more controlled because they throw so many people. But this past week, they've been giving it to me because they just been throwing every nook and cranny in these damn episodes. I'm like, where the fuck you come from? You got Sasha up in this bitch. I'm like, where you been? You got Cody. I'm like, where the hell you been at? And then you got the stuff. You got the Carly and Drew. You got the Ned, the Maxie, I'm like, y'all wearing my ass out, like, and I've been loving it because Lucy Coben. I'm like, listen, that episode, I think it was was it Thursdays, where they was in the cabin, where they was in the safe house, and Lucy was just working Valentine and Anna's fucking nerve, like all up in the window. Anna was like, get away from the window. I'm like, yo, what is wrong with her? Drinking all the coffee, using up all the hot water. Valentine was like, you ain't seen torture. Like, he looking at her like, listen, I will torture you now because you fucking hers right now. I was like, listen, she all mad because they on the couch fucking up their cuddle time, like, because you ain't got a man. I'm like, well, then go in the damn bedroom or the bathroom and go pleasure yourself then. Leave them the hell alone. Like, you over here cop blocking them, like, leave them alone. Like, you mad because you by yourself. How was that their fault? That your man had to go tend to his mom. I'm like, well, shit, call him and blame the mama then. Get her nerves. I'm like, what that got to do with them? Like, they over here trying to cuddle up, get them some sexy time. And it's been long overdue for Anna and Valentine. That's why anybody who interrupts, I get irritated. I'm like, leave them alone. Leave them alone. Let them have a moment. Because once they get back to Port Charles, you ain't gonna have no moment. You just gonna be in drama. Yeah. But I love it though. It's just sometimes the episodes be a little congested, but I love it. It's fun for me.
But that's the one thing I would sit there and say about everyone. Like, we'll all have our different opinions about it, whether it's good, whether it's bad, or whatever. But I think the one thing we can agree on, especially with GH, is that they just have a lot of people. This is why I love Days, because they seem like they almost have the same amount of cast, but they know how to control it better, as opposed to GH. They just throw everybody in it. And, I was sitting there watching Brock, his reviews or whatever, and I was like, because I know I'm about to sit there and do my review. It's like, oh, okay, it's going to be this kind of day. Okay, all right. I guess I'm going to need to sit there and get like 2 pieces of paper to sit there and make sure I get all my notes correct, because they just throw everyone in. But I just found it really funny that everyone here, the one thing we can agree on is that they just have so many people on that show. It's insane.
They do.
Yeah, because with GH, it's like with the way they tell the story, it's like they have, like, because you're right, Days has a better utilization of their characters, and they know how to position people in and out. Like, okay, we got Allie leaving, and now we got this new chick coming in, which I guess might be a romance with Chanel. And
going.
Yeah, it's a better balance too. It reminds me, like, literally, this show reminds me of One Life to Live. I know it's ironic because Carlotta used to write for One Life to Live, but that's exactly what I think I'm getting, like Lambview and Salem almost at times. But I feel like Days, like I said, they just have that better balance of how they write for each character. And you're interested and you're invested. I mean, we're getting the Spectator now. Like, Gwen. I mean, that is the courtroom. That's their courtroom and the hospital room, everything. I don't know if y'all noticed. A bunch of colors. They just put little office squares in there. I be catching up. But hey, our 49 is doing something. Our 49 is doing something about. So I gotta give it to them.
You know what? I've been meaning to bring that up. Because I want to bring this up before I forget. What the fuck do these women see and Eric Brady, because he walking around Salem right now feeling himself. And my thing about Eric Brady is you walking around Salem feeling yourself a little too much, sir. Because I'm like, for one, you're dealing with 2 women right now who, well, hell, 3 at the time because you got Jada in there too. You're dealing with 3 women who got jobs. And I'm like, sir, you ain't got no job, but you feeling yourself a bit too much for me, for somebody that ain't bringing home a check. I'm like, the way he be talking to Nicole and them, I'm just like, you need to bring that down to a 1 because I'm just not gonna have no broke person talking to me like this. I got a career, you don't, and you think you the shit? Like, absolutely not. So he need to go sit down somewhere with this nonsense.
The character Eric Gray doesn't grab me, but my buddy Gray Vaughn is one of the hottest, sexiest.
I was waiting for that.
Well, you know that's my man.
I second that.
I'm friends with him, and I'm telling you, whenever you see him, he makes you feel so important. I don't know what it is. I've sat next to him in interviews. I've interviewed him. I at the Emmys, he's like, James, oh my God. And he hugs you, and you're just like, I love you. I will give up everything for you. I love you. And I'm just like, I don't know why I feel like he just gives. He's seriously in real life. He is the whole package. I don't know what it is.
You know, James over there about to risk it all.
I was like Shark Tank. For those reasons, I'm in. I'm all in. I'm all in.
James about to get that man the keys to his car, the bank account numbers.
Here's my phone. Here's the password.
He just about to sign his whole estate over.
I'm telling you, anybody who meets him in person will tell you him and Don Diamont. Oh my God. I've not interviewed Don Diamont yet. That's my list. But when I yelled this thing about the Emmys, he came back and shook my hand. I said, I'm never washing his hand again. He is like, he's hotness on a stick. And he's 60 years old. I'm like, this is not fair. This is not fair. It is not fair. He's just like, I feel like a giggly schoolgirl. I was like, I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like a 600-pound, 300-pound, 6-foot black man. And I'm like, what the fuck? They are just, so to go back to your other thing, is Eric Brady himself boring as fuck, but Greg Vaughn, I'm all in.
Listen, let me say something.
Queen Sugar, I was like, all my black people like, who's that white boy? I'm like, yep, he's the one. He's the one. He gives me everything. So I was gonna say that.
Now, see, for me, I would risk it all for Nick Newman and Lee Shid. Okay, Lee Shid is everything to me. He's everything.
But Joshua Morrow's King is growing into his looks. He's looking really good at this age. He's working it out.
Yeah, no, the actor is dope. The actor is dope, but that once you said Nick Newman, it's that damn character I can't stand.
Yeah, I know. I agree.
And Michael Quartermain, those two.
You like Chad Duell?
Yeah.
Who's having a baby from somebody else, not Courtney Hope. I was like, oh, he's on a baby.
You know what? I got it. You know what? I was reading them damn comments because I had posted on my community section of him, having a child. Everybody in the comments like, hold the fuck up. He weird. He did. I said, wait, though. I said, hold up. That's not uncommon for somebody to move on from somebody.
BrockTV. I interviewed Courtney Hope before my boyfriend. We love each of my fiance on the show. They have that huge theme wedding,
and it wasn't even legalized neither.
Right, but I'm saying, the next day it was over. I was like,
yeah, I remember that, and I was side-eyeing the shit out of it too. Cause I said, wait, what happened? Because everybody he gets with, it never works. Like he'll date them for like a year or two. And I do remember him and Kristen Alderson broke up because
they're meant to be. Those two are meant to be. That's how I feel.
Oh, jeez.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm with Brock on this. So like, well, that's all I'm gonna say is well.
I'm just like, listen, he is a man of talents, I guess, because he know how to make them disappear and go. But they don't around too much long, for too long. And he on to the next one. But I will say the shorty he with now, I was looking at her on them Halloween costume. I was like, well, damn. just breasts everywhere, ass style. I said, I was looking at her like, that's a lucky man. Like, well, damn, she got the goods.
She did. He pulled it, and she pulled it, and there you go. There you have it. A kid coming in September or whatever, come this year. So there you go, kids. Mm-hmm.
Oh my!
That's right, DC. That's right. Let's see who else is hot. Josh Swickard. I love him. He's hot.
Robert Scott Wilson.
Robert Scott Wilson wins every time. I mean, he's
number one.
He gets again.
One of my favorites.
Lee Shin to me trumps Robert Scott Wilson though.
Who?
Lee
Lee
Shin.
Shin. I like him. Remington. I like him.
Oh,
He's cute.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
well,
hot. He's hot.
You put him above Robert Scott?
Yeah, because Robert Scott was okay for a while. You know, after a while, you just get used to it. So it's like Lee Shin is like the new flavor.
For me, I would say neck and neck. For me, I will say though, Precious Way, I love her.
Oh, I know. Oh, she was
Precious Way, I love her.
Yeah.
Who's that?
That was the original Chanel.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I love the current.
Yeah. I love Elia Cantu, my girl who plays Jada. She in real life, she's hilarious. We were on a Zoom together the other day, and she was just, oh my god, we were dying.
One of the finest ones, I will say, Camilla Bannis.
Oh yeah,
Camilla. I would literally. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't ever want kids. That's just me. But her, yes.
I love her. Camilla's good. She's good. She's fun.
I remember her from One Life to Live when she was first on there.
Yep, she was on there. Yes, she was on there. It's her and A. Martinez, who I love him as my buddy. They actually acted together on One Life to Live, and then they acted together on Days. Yes,
they played.
And A's another one. He is so soulful, and he talks to you just like. Same with Vincent Irizarry. Oh my God, he's another one who's just like he was Lou Jack. He was Lou Jack on Guiding Light. David Haywood on All My Children. I mean, he is like the bomb.
Demos Kyriakis on Days too. Yeah.
He is the best. I love him, and he's hot. He's hot too.
I always felt like GH dropped the ball not getting him because I said,
I agree.
I mean, they don't have to put him on contract. I would love it though, but
him and Anna together, like
him and exactly
isn't that? Yeah.
If they were to bring him in right now, I think it would have a huge effect on her relationship with Valentine.
But here's what's crazy: he was on Bone Beautiful for an episode as a doctor. And it's like there's a lot of possibility. Yeah, what happened to Bridget? She was on it for a minute too. And then it was like they brought Robin Givens on as a doctor a couple episodes, and they brought in him. I'm like, what's going on? Oh, what happened, Brock?
No, I say remember they brought in Tisha Campbell as a doctor too.
Yeah, they did. Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Actually, I miss T-Boz on Days. I loved her on Days.
Oh yeah, what happened to her?
I don't know.
Did they just drop the character?
Yeah.
But see, that's why I like the Jack Hayes on Days. That was the smartest move they could have made because
Jack Harry, my spirit animal.
They needed her because they need that celebrity. They need that celebrity to bring in the new viewers. I mean, I think I was watching the day. My mom was like, "Is that Tina Tamara's mom?" I was like, "Yeah."
In your age, for me, it was 227, obviously. But yes, it was. You know, I've been very critical of her acting on the show, but I have over the years. But I do. She's a legend. She's a legend in television, and that was a smart move to bring somebody like her on the show, and add a different flavor. I mean, I always enjoy her acting, but I do enjoy that she's on the show.
Yeah. And they even actually had a thing that said 227 on her door at one point. So I thought that was a nice little nod right there. I was like, okay, I see you. I appreciate it.
They brought Marla Gibbs on, who lives in my neighborhood, actually. And I see her riding around her once in a while. I'm like, that girl's in her early hundreds, but she is working it out. She is.
Because the last time she was on Soap, she was on Passions, Marla Gibbs.
Yeah, she's very active. And she's a legend in our community here, just in South LA and Lamar Park. She's a legend here. She's at Marla Gibbs Memory Lane. It was the bomb. It was a place to go to. I mean, she's a legend. I love seeing her around town. She's like a legend. A legend. I mean, and nobody beats Florence. Come on, Jefferson's. That was the bomb.
Yeah, Marla Gibbs been doing this shit so long.
Oh yeah,
still doing it too.
Oh yeah,
still doing it. She ain't slowed down a bit.
Oh yeah.
I want to ask y'all real quick though too. What y'all think about this stupid ass McCall Unlimited Victoria Newman thing? I'm gonna be real with you. Victoria is that chick that need to be knocked down a peg or two at this point because the arrogance on her. It's like now you're making enemies where you shouldn't because now you're trying to go behind Victor back and think you're gonna play him. And I'm like, hopefully Victor stops being so sweet, soft on her ass and give it to her because at this point she need to be knocked down. Like she got to understand you are not the majority owner. And you making all these moves like your ass can't be moved out. Like he could easily just fire you. He already made it clear he does not care about CEOs. He made that abundantly clear. And I find it funny because every time Victoria comes to the office, I feel like it's a statement Victor makes because every time she comes in the office, he's still sitting behind that desk. And I feel like it's this subtle way of letting her know, I put you here. I can take it anytime I want. Like, he just has no care in the world for her position as CEO. And it's like little subtle hints, like, you know, I'm still sitting behind his desk. Even if it is your office now, your painting is up there and mine isn't, it's still mine. You know what I mean? And she's rocking the boat right now because he already told her, I don't want no further discussion about McCall. Adam's going to run it. It is what it is. What pissed me off was Nikki sitting there having that conversation with Michael, like, I need you to help me, you know, slow this whole McCall thing down or fix it because she don't like that Victor is trying to put Adam in control. I'm like, she need to go sit down and stop trying to play this little favoritism card when it come down to them kids, because it just feels like every time it comes down to Adam, she is always team Nick and team Victoria. And it's like you're trying to pitch your own husband against his son. And that's how I feel like Nikki comes off. Victoria is coming off like that also. Like, you want daddy to pick you all the time over Adam. And it's like, he need to slap their ass down real quick, because knock them down to reality and let them know who really in charge around there. So I want
James,
to know.
James, what's been your take on that with this whole story? Like Brock said.
All that, I'll give all that. All I know is she's hungry for some Nate, and I don't blame her because Sean Dominic's hot. So all I know is she walk around him and she just like, her tongue is hanging out. She is ready to get some of that chocolate. So I'm like, or that peanut butter, whatever he is. So I'm like, she is down for the cause. I'm like, you go, girl. She's like, I've been hurt. You know, I mean, she's Victor. She's literally the daughter of Victor. I mean, she stepped into that role of that she's Victor. And so she's annoying like he can be. She's judgmental like he can be. I mean, it's all that. Everything Brock said is true. I mean, it's all true. I have nothing to rebuttal because it's all true. And I think, but I actually kind of like Amelia Hiley. I kind of find like her character. I like that's how she's playing it. I mean, that's how it's all. Victor with his children is always going to be messy. It's always going to be messy. It's just how it is. I mean, they forget they have Abby. Like, Abby's, oh, she's a Newman. Okay. She's always with the Abbotts. So it's like, but the other three, with Adam, and it's all messed up. How they treat Adam and how they come back and forth. And then with Nick, and he's the golden boy, now he's back. There's so many decisions this show has made last year concerning the businesses. You see, my bigger problem is, screw those folks. I said it on my show last year when they were going to try to conglomerate the Winters and Hamiltons and whatever. I was like, why are we getting rid of all these black businesses in General City? Amanda and her sister had a business, and all of a sudden they got cut out. They were brought in, and we're gonna take Hamilton Winters and just fold it in so some white lady can run it. I'm like, what? No. So now the storyline is he don't want it. I'm like, of course, it all fell apart. I was like, I said it on my show a long time ago. This is not what Neil would have wanted. No, he would not wanted this. He built Hamilton Winters on purpose because he was a Newman protege, and he had his own business. And it was about music. I was like, oh my God! So this Lily thing is bugging the crap. Now that's bugging the crap out of me. So Lily, that's just bugging the crap out of me. So that's what I'm more about. I'm like, let the black folks have their own business and run that in General City. And it's like there are no. I mean, because Elena works at a hospital, so that doesn't count. And Nate works with the Newmans. It's like, well, where is our head of our? Sorry, that's what bugs me more than Victoria stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I'll add to that and say this before I pass off to Albert, get his thoughts, is I will say that with YNR, I feel like what happens to Winners is, and this happens to a lot of soap families we're seeing, where when there isn't the next generation of the matriarch or patriarch written in for that family, the family tends to lose direction and focus. That I see a lot of times happens on soaps. Like we see Damaris, I'm hoping Megan Hathaway is the perfect person to be that next head of the family, because Tony's too soft, EJ's just too callous, Chad is just all over the place, and Stefan is too new, right, to really take that helm. So I feel like with YNR, we saw that happen with the Winterses. I mean, once Drusilla went off that cliff, so I can see the Winners family. Let's keep it a buck, okay, guys. When Drusilla went off that cliff, so the Winners, they lost direction for so many years. But in terms of the storyline,
we had Neil, and Neil was still on there. The late great Christophe St. John, may he rest in peace. And I just want to jump real quick and say, because I was friends with him and everything, and it's a shame because he couldn't. He was in too much pain because of his son and everything else.
Yeah,
they could
he
still be
was
with us. That to me, that was the big loss. Because once he left, they really couldn't recast.
Yeah.
It was because in real life, what happened with him was too tragic, and the whole world was kind of mourning that, and they couldn't recast. And I don't think they positioned Devon to be the new head of the family either. So I'm with you, DC. So it's kind of like they couldn't really. It's a tough one, and so because of such a sudden loss, and that was something that was unexpected, and it was like this. And I had just talked to him before everything happened. He was like, "I'm back on TV." He had said to me, "James, I've been doing this since I was a kid. That's all I know." And I said, "I know." I said, "Go back to work sometimes to really help you with the problems he was having." And so, but it was too strong. But I think that's what killed the Winters family. And like literally, I mean, it's like it. And they wrote it. They just kind of splintered them off. Lily over here, and they just didn't. And then they
unless they could have their cousin Justin from LA, because we know he's not doing everything over
I know.
TV. He could come on over. He would be perfect. He could do it. He would be perfect for that. But in terms of utilizing for that, it's not going to happen. But I will say that in terms of what we're seeing with Nate and Victoria, I'm liking it because I do feel like Nate belongs to the real woman that stands 10 toes down for him, and not so much Elena, which Victoria's not really all the way that woman because she's still selfish and all about the Newman family. So she wants what she wants, but she's a woman who stands on her convictions and supports people, well, as long as it benefits them. Okay, so it's hard to say. Let me take that back because neither of them are good options. Elena's not. She's 10 toes down for Nate.
I'm gonna take that back. You're getting us a stay. We can take it back.
Elena didn't stand 10 toes down for Nate, so I will never support the two of them. She cost this man his medical license, his relationship with his family, just to try to obliterate his plans in front of them. So to me, I would never be a fan of the Elena and the Nate pairing. Albert, go ahead, take us away. And if you had
I don't understand. I mean, granted, here's the thing. I haven't been watching the show as long as y'all have, but when you say things like, Elena, cost this man his medical license,
she did.
Okay, and whose fault was it to sit there and fight with another guy when you're a doctor and you're a surgeon, and you have to use your hands? I mean, is it Elena's fault, or is it this man's fault for actually making the decision to start getting into a fight with someone when you are a surgeon? I'm talking to you, DC.
She was part of the reason. But the thing is that when she came in, when she came in the Chance of Winners, it's like, I have something to say. And getting ready to expose Nate, I'm like, sis, you cost him his whole medical license. Like, she didn't cost him that. He made the decision, but stand by your man, stand 10 toes down. You were in the affair with him. You know what I mean? And now getting ready to expose him, be this beacon of moral virtue. I like how she did that. And because of that, Nate had to expose himself. And I get it. What Nate did was not right. But I felt like she should have stayed out of that. That had nothing to do with her. You know what I'm saying? You already cost him his medical license. You didn't stand 10 toes down for him. So she went to Baltimore. I was happy. She should have stayed in Baltimore. That's how I feel. She was not a real woman. She did not support him. So I felt like Nate Vlog was a real woman who was going to stand.
Brock's coming in. Go ahead, come in. Go do it. Let's do it.
I'm not even going to sit here and act like I ain't the main one who always said, like, even on GH, I said Olivia, she always talked down on Ned. And I always said, you got to stand by your man, like the late Tammy Wynette sang. But my issue with that, with Elena, is she stood by her man. Last time I checked, when they had an affair behind Devon's back, it takes two to do that. It wasn't just, unless she was fingering herself or whatever. She didn't drug the man. Last time I checked, he willingly put his member in her, and that's how it went down.
He fell into her vagina.
Exactly. He done fell into it. Mm-hmm. And he willingly did that. And he's willingly now neglecting her. Mm-hmm. It's like they're not even in a relationship at this point. They're roommates.
Yep.
He's the one that offered a vacation to her, and now he's pulling back on that. Talking about, now ain't the right time. So if you knew now wasn't the right time, then you should never offered that. So her attitude towards him, I totally understand it, because she works a lot being a doctor. And I get being in the corporate world is hectic as well. But at the end of the day, he's choosing to sit here and rendezvous with his superior and not tell Elena about it, not break it off. Even when he acts like, oh, we shouldn't be doing this, he know damn well he gonna do it. He can act like a martyr all he want to. At the end of the day, Nate ain't shit. At the end of the day, like, he's not. And I hate to see a black educated man be pulled down like this, but that man ain't shit at this point. He's letting power the hunger for power dictate his decisions. He's letting that happen. You know, he's power hungry, you know, and he's letting Victoria feed his ego because he like it, and he feels like Elena's not doing that. When Elena's speaking real talk to him, he just don't want to hear it because it's not what he wants to hear. Victoria's telling him everything he want to hear. Oh, you're brilliant. You're this, you're that. Oh, you know, you're a great businessman. What great businessman? What deals have he closed? When he was with Chancellor Winters, yeah, he had some ideas. I'm not going to say they were bad ideas, but they were costly. So I totally understood where Devon was coming from, where he would be like, you know, I don't know if we're going to do that. But what deals have he closed to even get the Newman seal of approval? Like, that man ain't closed not a Walmart deal for products. Like, what deal has he closed to get these accolades? And I feel like she's giving him these accolades because she want to sleep with him. She just wants some black penis, and she's tossing these fancy titles and big salary and all these fancy words at him just to get what she wants. And that's all it is, honestly.
I'm sorry. I want to mention something. I see something in the chat room. I want to make a correction if somebody is out there to know this. Crystal Khalil is Pakistani by her father, but biracial black by her mother. So she is black. So somebody in chat was like, she's not black and she should be playing every girl playing. I'm like, no, she's actually also partially black. So, but she's half Arab. She's half Pakistani. So, but she's still black. So she can play a black role. Okay, so go ahead.
I wanted to add to what Brock was saying is that, so with Nate, even though Nate did those things, this is what I see when I saw Nate. I saw a man who made a mistake, who cheated with his cousin's girlfriend at the time, but I saw a man that lost his career, right? And so he lost career. It's almost like his whole career, that whole career was his identity, and he lost that. And so I think with him that he didn't know how to navigate the changes. And then when he was working under Devon, his ideas were getting supported, and he's like, okay, I'm trying to make my mark in this business world, but it's a struggle for me to do this when I'm not getting support I need from my so-called cousin. And I also don't have the identity of the work I've been doing for so many years as a doctor anymore. And so I think that's when he sort of went rogue, because he wanted to find his place and his identity in this. And I think that's where Nate went wrong, but I understand it on that. And that's my thing with Elena. I feel like she understands that this man's identity was wrapped up in all of that. And I felt like even though he was doing something that was a little nefarious business-wise, I felt like she didn't necessarily have to support him. She could have stayed out of it. So when she walked in and being like, I have something to say, you know, and it's just like, I was just like, why are you here? And so as a result, now Nate had to expose himself, you know? And so that's why Nate realizes he can't deal with her. He can't mess with her no more. Like, they're still together, but it's like Nate is realizing you're not the type of woman I thought you could be. And it's like, you're not the man I thought you could be, Nate. You know, you're not that man for me. And it's like, stay out of it. Like, this had nothing to do with you. It was a business move. And he was trying to make his mark in that. So that's what I saw. I saw a man trying to struggle with a new identity he was trying to build for himself. That's what I saw with Nate. And that's what I still see with him in some ways.
I can appreciate that sentiment. But I feel like, honestly, he was an arrogant ass. He came in here thinking he was Mr. Big Shot, like, oh, I know more than you. Even to this day, he talks about Devon as if he knows better than Devon. Like, he always worried about what Devon doing at Chancellor. Why are you worried about it? You ain't want to work there no more. You got something new. So what you worried about what they doing? And on top of that, it's like, I feel like with his career, he can't blame any of that on Elena. It was a mutual sexual liaison between the two, and they knew what they were doing was wrong. He knew it. And maybe he didn't know that Devon was going to knock the shit out of him. He may have not known that, but he should have anticipated that. I mean, you mess with somebody's woman, you're going to get your shit rocked 9 times out of 10, family or not. And honestly, I understand, you know, he may have not felt like he had support from his cousin, but in a business world, when you're in that office and you're in a suit and tie, you clocked in, that ain't your cousin, that's your superior. You know what I mean? Like, you got to take the cousin out of there. I feel like even at Newman Enterprises, they got to take that mother, father, daughter, son, they got to take that shit out the element. That's your boss. You know what I mean? You got to take that out. I'm not your dad when we're at the office. I'm not your cousin when we're at the office. I'm not your brother. I'm your boss, or I'm your equal. Whatever position you're in, that's what you are. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like Devon and Lily heard him out, and I feel like Lily, foolish behind, wanted to immediately go with whatever Nate wanted without actually looking at the numbers. Devon is a numbers guy. He looks at the numbers. Do I think part of it was Devon punishing him subconsciously? Maybe. Sure. I'm not saying it wasn't, probably was, but I feel like he was looking at them numbers like, you know, your ideas are good, but look at what it's going to cost us compared to what we're going to make in the long run. You know, he was like, you know, doing our own festival is not good right now. You know what I mean? We should still partner up with everybody else and do the festivals that way. We're not equipped to do that right now. Nate didn't want to hear it. He just took it as a slight. So I feel like Nate is a bit arrogant. He thinks he knows more than people who have experience, especially in the music world. In the music business, you can't really tell Devon shit about the music business. He's been doing this for a long time. He's been trying to get in the music business even before he got wealth. So he knows that, you know, that area better than Nate would. That's like Devon trying to tell Nate how to be a doctor. It's not believable, right? He can't tell Nate how to be a damn surgeon. So Nate can't tell him how to be a CEO. That's just my opinion. I feel like he came off a little bit arrogant. Even to this day, he has that arrogance.
You know what? I'm so glad you said that, because I was like, you know what? That's why I was like, you know what, Brock, take it away, because I was like, at this point, I don't even have to say anything, because usually when we do our reviews, for the most part, our perspectives are usually in line for the most part. That's why when DC was saying, I was like, you know what, I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm not even gonna sit there and breathe. I'm just gonna sit there and let BrockTV handle this, because I know that, yeah. So I agree with everything that you're saying. I don't have to say anything. You said it all for me. You really did. Thank you, bro.
All right, guys. We're approaching now 10:30. Albert, do you want to go ahead and close us out for the night, guys?
First of all, I just want to sit there and thank everyone. Well, first of all, I want to sit there and thank everyone for joining us tonight. I really appreciate seeing some new faces, some familiar faces. I want to thank, of course, DC Sanctuary, Brock TV, and James, my buddy, my mentor, and my friend, for joining us tonight. I know you got a lot of stuff that's going on. Our prayers are always with you. And just to let you know personally, I'm always here to sit there and talk to you, because trust me, I've been through it, you know. But I want to thank y'all for joining. Both of you. And of course, DC, my right hand man. And again, I just want to thank everyone for joining. Any last words, Brock?
Yes. I want to thank the good people of YouTube for watching us. And rocking out with us in our craziness tonight. Definitely want to thank, DC and Albert, and of course the internationally known Mr. James Lott, for gracing us with his international presence here today. And James, please do not forget to talk to Mr. Carlavati for me.
Yes.
Because back to his good graces.
We're trying to get the tea, if I can get a tea too at the same time. I'll let you know.
Tell him we are good buddies. Like, we got to stick together in this world. Like, what happened 10 years ago is 10 years ago. We got to wrap that.
I want to say thank you to everybody who's new to who I am. JLJ Media. You can find me here. You can find me everywhere. Just type in James Lott Jr. JLJ Media. I'm everywhere. You can follow me. JH Main Spotlight, YNR Main Spotlight, GH Dirty Deeds, Bone Beautiful Main Spotlight, Bone Beautiful Rewind, the Like to Live after show, the All My Children after show, the Dallas after show, Not Standing after show, Falcon Crest after show. You can follow all those. I talk soaps, I talk Star Wars, I talk She-Hulk, I talk organizing, I talk everything. So you check me out there. I want
all them damn shows. You worse than Steve Harvey.
I do about 50 shows. I'm part Caribbean. We have 10 jobs. So we do a lot of stuff. But for me, it's been an absolute pleasure, Brock, to actually do a show with you. I'm like, it's just like a dream come true for me, Brock. So
no, it is for me, because your ass funny as hell.
You're amazing. So like I said, you're one of the few ones I remember from way back when, like that was like on the webs and who was black and who was doing it. And DC, the heartthrob of the group, of course, working it out there. So thank you. And Albert, my man, of course, and so folks don't really know, I almost lost my mother about 3 or 4 days ago. And right now she's fighting for her life. So this was a great, as soon as I got the phone here, I have to go take care of her. So I'm like, this has been a great almost 3 hour away from that, separate. And that's what this does. Soaps can bring people together and get them through things. And that's why I don't think soaps are frivolous. I don't think what we do is frivolous or not meaningful. It really is. That people's lives, they depend on us. And so you three young, black, wonderful gentlemen, continue doing what you're doing.
I want to thank everyone for joining. Stay safe, everyone, and follow us all. Also, James got the Patreon going on. You got how many people right now?
I'm
31?
up to 31, and I'm trying to
Yes,
get to 40.
31.
When I get to 40, one of my famous friends will be. We're going to do a special thing together. So I'm waiting to get to 40. So we're at 31 right now. So please, different
Yes,
tiers, join any tier, and please join us. And I do Zoom events also and Zoom classes. Join those also, and I will teach you stuff.
and
Oh,
I
I
can
forgot to
attest
say.
because they are fun.
Oh, wait.
They are fun, so definitely join them. Because I'm one of the lotties. I'll sit there and say it. So definitely join. Now, what was you gonna say, DC?
I was gonna say, just my piece. Just really grateful. Thank you guys for coming on today. Like I said, this is the four families, the Kings of Soaps. I'm really excited. Like I said, this has been a blast, guys, and I'm really excited. You guys can find me DC Soap Sanctuary. I'm here on YouTube, guys. But this has just been amazing, just to be here, have this opportunity, and be with you guys tonight. So super grateful for it.
We got to do it again. We got to do it again.
We do.
Definitely. Well, have a good night, everyone. Stay safe, and we will all see you in our respective shows and live streams and all that.
And all that.
And all that.
All that.